There's a reason why they do that. To be quicker. I don't know what it is, but friends, when we like they said better, I do think it's a big problem. I've always struggled for my first fight.
Three groups, boys.
Probably hard with the distance between the cigarettes. Very well. Some pretties?
Yeah.
Lovely.
MD.
Wally did comment here, but it's locked in the port. The boys are not liking the Duncan Fernley 9A finger up.
No.
Can I get them? You get down, you man.
Shut. Sorry, my bad. More here, guys. More in this group.
Nice. Punish.
No, I might as well start to get us some publicity. We're on ISDN 403. Do you want me to do the input scores as well, save them being horribly out of date on bulletins? Fuck you. I need more than that if I think step of 30 is right. It's alright, sure. I know all the producers on Radio Wales and I'm married to one of them. It's his afternoon show, so it doesn't matter if we overrun by a few seconds. Okay, if you could ask her to give
Andrew Salter, bike lover, dog lover, social media star. Time to play some cricket at last.
Finally, yeah, I know I was running out of ideas on the social media. Had to buy a dog because I ran out of stuff to put on there. But yeah, it's nice to get some cricket. So really looking forward to it tomorrow now.
What's it like to come back in with not a lot of match practice behind you?
Yeah, I suppose there's been a lot of hard yards behind closed doors. Last couple of weeks, it's always a bit of a frustrating one for me. Always disappointing to miss out on squad selection. So yeah, it's been putting in the hours, putting in the overs in the cage behind the ground here. So yeah, there's been a lot of hard work going on behind the scenes, and we're in to go now.
Matthew Maynard's been speaking positively of the way he wants you to take wickets as well as dry up runs in those vital overs. What's your role in the side, do you think?
Yeah, it all comes hand in hand. Generally speaking, the more pressure you build, the more dots you build, the wickets, the chances come from that. So yeah, fingers crossed that's how I like to do it, especially in the middle overs when I'm required. So yeah, we're just as an outfit, we'll have to keep it tight, try and build as much pressure as possible, and then fingers crossed the wickets come as a result of that.
How much impetus is there on the side to turn around results this year after a rather disappointing season last season, to say the least, in the T20?
Yeah, it feels like a long time ago now, especially for myself not being involved the last month, and all I've had to do is be listening and watching to you, Nick, on the TV, which the coverage has been brilliant, I must add. But yeah, just looking forward to getting going. It feels like a long time since the last comp, so I'm fresh, feeling excited and ready to go.
And I guess there'll be a lot of homegrown players around in the competition generally this year, with not so many overseas involved.
Yeah, I think it'll have a different feel about it. It's hard to say at the moment because we haven't had those games, so very much going into it, as I said, pretty fresh, pretty excited, and fingers crossed it can be our year.
And Glamorgan signing Andrew Balbirnie, a Cardiff MCCU product, like yourself, the Ireland captain.
Yeah, we spend quite a lot of time together, both on the pitch and off the pitch. Andrew's a great lad. Been good to catch up with him this morning. I'm sure you'll feel at home in Cardiff like he did do throughout the time here in university. So yeah, it's great to have Andrew here, and we're both looking forward to get going.
What's he bringing cricketing terms?
Yeah, well, he's coming off some good form. He's, as I said, he's in good form. He'll bring that confidence, and that's what T20 cricket's all about. It's momentum, it's confidence, and fingers crossed we can get that going. A bit of enjoyment, and the results should come off the back of that.
We've had 4 weeks of 4-day cricket where crowds are usually quite quiet anyway, so it hasn't been so strange playing behind closed doors. T20 is going to be pretty different, isn't it, though, because normally you've got the music pounding, you've got 1,000 in the crowd and so on. Yeah,
I had a good chat to Andrew about that this morning, actually, because he has had that experience without the crowd. As you said, Cardiff is fantastic on a Friday night when the T20s are on and the crowd comes in. So it's going to be different. We're not 100% sure what we're going to be, how it's going to be, how it's going to feel. But after talking to Andrew, the intensity is there, the energy is there. That competition, we're fighting for that result. So nothing changes from that point of view. So we just got to be up for it and crack on.
Andrew, to start with then, what attracted you about the idea of spending a few weeks over here based in Wales?
First and foremost, I think it's playing a quality competition for a really good team and an exciting team. It's obviously unique times where teams can't really bring over their big overseas players from Australia and South Africa, so there was a door open there for Irish players. So fortunately it was done last week and I was able to come over.
And of course you've got previous experience of the Blast with Middlesex.
Yeah, I had a stint with Middlesex and played a few games, but maybe not as many as I would have liked. But that was quite a while ago now, so I feel like my game's come on since then. So hopefully I can contribute to some wins for Glamorgan over the next month.
How do you see your role in the team then?
Yeah, well, look, probably I'm a batter, top order batsman, like to score my runs quickly and get off to a good start. So I'd like to think that I'll be able to do that here, and like I said, give Glamorgan some wins.
Nice short straight boundaries here as well.
Yeah, I've played there a couple of times with the university team when I was here, so it's a ground I know pretty well, not all too well, but any ground that you've played in before gives you a bit of an insight on how to go about it. So I've been out there and had a look at the dimensions, so hopefully I can execute my skills when I get out there.
Was that part of your reason for coming over here then? Happy memories of your days at Cardiff MCCU?
Yeah, I had 3 great years here. I love the city. I have a lot of friends here and friends that I've been able to meet up with, so it's been great. So hopefully I can pay Glamorgan back with, they brought me over, hopefully I can pay them back with some good performances.
Big boots to fill though if you're batting number 3, which is a role taken by Colin Ingram in recent years, a real big hitter.
Yeah, certainly. I've seen some of his scores over the last few years, and look, I'll do my best. They are massive boots to fill, and contributing to wins is what I'm here for, and hopefully I can do that.
Glamorgan didn't quite get it right last year. Obviously this year unique circumstances, not many overseas around, and not much preparation time either.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the guys have just finished a 4-day game yesterday, and they're straight at it tomorrow in the T20 stuff. So we've got to hit the ground running. The game's come thick and fast, so we've got to make sure that we get off to a winning start tomorrow and go on a bit of a roll. Because if you can get momentum in this competition with the games coming so thick and fast, there's, you know, hopefully something special can happen.
Irish players in hot demand at the moment after beating England last few weeks back.
Yeah, it was that's the last game of cricket I've played, so it was very memorable. Obviously unique circumstances and having no people watching it, but it meant a whole lot to the country and to the cricketing population in Ireland. So yeah, that was great. Hopefully I can take that form into the blast for Glamorgan.
What did it mean to you to play such a big role in that with Paul Sterling, both of you hitting hundreds?
Yeah, it was brilliant. Look, it's, you know, when you're chasing 320, you've got to go at it pretty hard, and Paul managed to do that, and I managed to play sort of second fiddle to him. He'd be my best mate in the game, and we were able to do that. And when you put on a partnership like that, it goes a long way to winning a game of cricket. And yeah, it was a great buzz and one of the highlights of my career.
And he'll be in the blast as well, playing for Northampton.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I haven't played against him a lot. You know, I'm sure he'll be telling the Northants lads how to get me out, and I'll be telling the lads how to get him out. So he's obviously a world-class player, and he's going to be one of their strongest batters. So we're going to make sure we can get him as early as possible.
Where are we in terms of Irish players developing their currency within the world game? Because you can't play as home players in the UK counties anymore. It's sort of transition time for professional Irish players.
Yeah, look, we've got 19 full-time contracts back home. Probably not as much cricket as we'd like. Obviously this year has been different for everyone, so it's been quite difficult. So the opportunity for me to come here, a couple of the guys to go into Northampton and Gareth Laney at Leicester, it gives us a great shop window. And you know, going forward, who knows what happens if we put in performances. Hopefully it's something that can happen in the future.
And there are interesting loyalties over here in cricketing terms. I think you might be quite popular if you tell a few Welsh fans how you beat England.
Yeah, well, I remember from my days studying here, going to some of the rugby games, how much of a rivalry there is there. So yeah, hopefully first and foremost winning games for Glamorgan, and then hopefully we can do that and celebrate them.
Go lads! Yeah, you're going there. Take the start. Okay, ready? Send it. Come on, boy. Yes, Yuki. Okay.
We're moving, Shanna.
Finish.
Yes, Kyle. Yes, up. That's something. Oh.
Go, go.
I've got it, Kyle. One back up.
Oh, no. Nice. Lovely, Billy. Come on. That's flat.
Oh, fuck.
Pick up. Fail. Nice, ball.
Oh, yeah. Yes, Kyle. Does not miss. Oh,
Oh, shakes.
no.
Hands. Yes, yes, go. Go. Rolling. Nice.
That's on me.
I'm staying.
Bravo.
Yes, Alva. Got him.
Right
Yeah,
there,
boy.
right Oh, like that.
Pick up.
Down. Oh, over the top. Go again here. Stay, Prep.
Thanks, anyway. I'll go straight. Hit Bill.
Oi!
Yes, Cal.
Get
it done.
Turn round.
Okay. Balling. Halfway.
Ow!
That didn't count. Okay. 5. Let's go. 6. Nice, Billy, go. Like hands.
Oh, your legs off. Go. Yes, big.
Oh. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Irish. Hit now. Jenkins.
Oh.
Bill.
It's off.
Yes, boy. Nice, guys. Get it. Come on. Oh, wag it.
Wagger.
Yeah. Get it.
Finish one.
Finish.
Finish, go. Hit more. Oh, Ragu. Turn him down. Turn him down. Oh, ball on the spin. Oh, go. Go, he's going to win. One of them will count, man.
Man, sensational. And the way you flicked the other one out as well. Well, that was my ball and job. Anyone want any more, boys? Yes, please. Oh, wangers. Super effort, man.
Each match is played by two teams of 11 players. Some are batters, some are bowlers, and there's one wicket-keeper. Both teams have a chance to bat and bowl. Look out for the coin toss. That's how they decide which team bats or bowls first. Each team has 20 overs to score as many runs as possible. The team with the most runs wins the game. One over is made up of 6 good deliveries from the bowler. To score runs, batters hit the ball and run between the stumps. If the ball reaches the boundary, it's 4 runs, and if it gets there without bouncing, that's a 6. While the batting team is scoring runs, the bowling team are trying to stop them and get the batter out by taking wickets. A few ways a batter can out are bowled, caught, run out, stumped, and LBW. Watch out for signals from the umpires, 4s, 6s, wickets, and these when a bad delivery has been bowled. Bad deliveries add runs to the batting team score, and the bowler must bowl an extra ball. If you see the umpire doing this, the next ball is a free hit, and the batter cannot be out, bowled, caught, LBW or stumped. And those are all the basics you need to know to get behind your team in this year's Vitality Blast competition.
Congratulations on the victory and on your own score. What are your feelings about the team performance in that first match of the season?
Oh, it's just that really. I think it was a team performance. A lot of people contributed, and it's a great way to start the competition. And yeah, happy to get some runs and contribute as always. And bowled really well, and Rod was quite a slow wicket.
Yeah, 9 overs out of the first 10 from spin. I'm not sure if I've ever seen that in a professional T20 match before. What was the thinking?
Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and it was working, and so we decided to keep it going. Obviously, we got 3 or 4 good spinners a team at the moment, and like I said, it was a bit of a slow wicket with a bit of spin. And when I was batting, it was pretty clear to see that the spinners were quite difficult to get away, so it was just trying to adapt to that.
And Prem Sisodia 1 for 12 in 4 overs, Andrew Salter with 4 for 20. Did you proud, didn't they?
Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant pair of bowling there, and yeah, they'd be really proud of their performances, and hopefully can continue through the competition.
You of course did the main work with the bat with 51 not out. How hard work was it out there on a slowish pitch and in the first match in this format this season?
Yeah, you have to be a bit unorthodox and conventional on a bit of a tacky wicket, so you know, it was quite tough just to walk in and sort of hit the sweepers hard. So I was trying to take it as deep as possible and try to see up the spinners and then see what we could do with the last few overs against the seam.
Did you think at halfway that 150 was a winning total?
We thought it was par. The feedback from the openers was 150 to 170 was the range we were looking at, so we were in that range, but like I said, I wasn't going to guess how well our spinners were going to bowl, so if I'd known that, yeah, probably a bit above par.
And you're quickly back into action now, no time to rest as you host Birmingham in Cardiff?
Yeah, it's that kind of competition where if you can get on a roll, the games come thick and fast, and you know, you really can get some points on the board, so a nice way to start, and tomorrow's another game, so we've got to put this one to the side and go again tomorrow.
a favour. There's 2 bibs down in the gym from yesterday in the sort of supplement carrier. You can make sure to bring them up to the dressing room. Three. Go. Nice talk. Yeah. Yes. Go further back. Jump. Three. Three more dead. Yeah. Thanks, Doc. 3. Go. 5. Nice, 4 left. What are we doing? Back in. You get the boots and the drink, then you go some food up. Over to the hold the Christmas guys. 3. Stop. What was that? Yeah. Breakfast. 5. 3. 2. Light sausages with a tie.
One duster. Lovely. Thank you. Not hearing cue now. Hi, Dave. Not hearing cue at the moment on the phone. I'm not hearing any cue down the phone at the moment. Lovely. Okay, lovely. Yeah, that.
Andrew Salter, bike lover, dog lover, social media star. Time to play some cricket at last.
Finally, yeah, I know. I was running out of ideas on the social media. Had to buy a dog because I ran out of stuff to put on it. But yeah, it's nice to get some cricket. So really looking forward to it tomorrow now.
What's it like to come back in with a lot of practice behind you?
Yeah, I suppose there's been a lot of hard yards behind closed doors. Last couple of weeks, it's always a bit of a frustrating one for me. Always disappointing to miss out on squad selection. So yeah, it's putting in the hours, putting the overs in the cage behind the ground here. So yeah, hard work on being the team. Good to go now.
I mean, I've been speaking positively of the we wanted to take with as well as try runs in those vital overs. What's your role in the side, do you think?
Yeah, it all comes hand in hand. Generally speaking, the more pressure you build, the more dots you build, the wickets, the chances come from that. So yeah, fingers crossed. That's how I like to do it, especially in the middle overs when I'm required. So yeah, as an outfit, we'll to keep it tight, try and build as much pressure as possible, and then fingers crossed the wickets come as a result of that.
How much impetus is there on the side to turn around results this year after a rather disappointing season last season, to say the least, in the T20?
Yeah, it feels like a long time ago now, especially for myself not being involved the last month, and what I've had to do would be listening and watching to you, Nick, on the TV, with the coverage has been brilliant, I must add. But yeah, just looking forward to getting going. Feel like a long time since the last comp, so I'm fresh, feeling excited and ready to go.
And I guess there'll be a lot of homegrown players around in the competition generally this year, with not so many overseas involved.
Yeah, I think it'll have a different feel about it. It's hard to say at the moment because we haven't had those games, so very much just going into it, as I said, pretty fresh, pretty excited, and fingers crossed it could be our year.
And Glamorgan signing Andrew Palberni, a Cardiff MCCU product, like yourself, the Ireland captain.
Yeah, we spend quite a lot of time together, both on the pitch and off the pitch. Andrew's a great lad. Been good to catch up with him this morning. I'm sure you'll feel at home in Cardiff like he did do throughout his time here in university. So yeah, it's great to have Andrew here, and we're both looking forward to get going.
What's he bringing?
The news is that Glamorgan have won the toss. They will bat first. The Bears lineup is Ian Bell, Ed Pollock, Adam Hose, Sam Hain, Will Rose, the captain, Michael Burgess, and wicketkeeper Tim Breslin, Henry Brooks, Ollie Stone back from injury, Jitan Patel, and Jake Lintott, who has been signed. He's previously played for Hampshire in this competition, playing 4 T20 matches, 27-year-old slow left-arm spinner, and he has been selected.
Fabulous evening's entertainment. a big shot. Massive chip. Beats the man at deep square leg.
Well, this is remarkable.
Finals day.
Don't rub it in. Come on.
I think I'm right in saying
history
that he got to 50 before another run had been scored, and certainly before Dom Sibley had got a run. So, yeah, well, that was, of course, the most recent meeting. What's quite nice about this, going back just for probably this year to these six. The regional groups of 6-3 as opposed to 2 divisions of 9 is that Glamorgan and the Bears got parted. They last played in a group match in 2013, and actually Glamorgan's recent record is rather good. They won all 4 of the meetings in 2012 and 2013, which is when we went back to 3 regions just for a couple of years. So you have to go back to 2009, the last time the Bears had beaten Glamorgan in a group match, but they did have that semi-final win at Edgbaston in 2017.
Yes, it's strange, isn't it, how you get used to playing the same teams. Yeah. One hopes it's mix and match for future competitions rather than, playing the same 5 teams. I think it would be pretty boring going forward if we were to only see 5 teams in all competitions.
Well, Anthony Gibson was telling me yesterday that they're looking at possibly using the Bob Willis Trophy format for the championship, and for the first year of that it would be the same regional groups of 6. Having said that, you would play some games in a sort of conference basis against teams from other groups, and then the idea is, if they do that, is that in future years it will be different groups of 6 on a sort of seeding system. But there we are. Anyway, the Bears are taking the field in their usual yellow and blue, and Glamorgan in their blue and yellow coming out to bat. Only cricket can do that. And they're going to be batting first, having already matched last year's tally of wins, Nick Webb, so those you say.
Yeah, it's 2 wins in a row. Glamorgan are on fire, having won the last of last season and the first match that was actually played of this season. And we're joined to provide expert commentary by the former Glamorgan and Kent batsman, Mike Powell. Mike, pleasure to see you.
Afternoon, Nick.
So, good to have you on board. Glamorgan batting first, and an unfamiliar batting lineup, to say the least, with Root, Douthwaite and Balbirnie as the top 3.
Yeah, there was a lot of chat before the previous game, and just before the previous game, Gloucester was just to get a bit of momentum, get a bit of good feel factor around the team, and come on the back of that with a win. They'll be in a great place and exactly where they want to be coming to this always very strong Warwickshire setup. So the umpires are Messrs Jeff Evans and Ian Blackwell, as in Glamorgan's game yesterday. And it'll be Billy Root to face up. First ball from the River Taff end to be delivered by Bresnan. Is in and bowls to Root, who plays it out on the offside, and there is no run. So Glamorgan opening up with left-right combination, which helps the batsman. Obviously, Dan Douthwaite has been given this new role this season. Strong hitter, but didn't get going over at Bristol when he was leg before Matt Taylor for 3. Bresnan in, bowls, and that's played out into the offside. There's a misfield, and Glamorgan are up and running as that one rather went through the fingers of Hose at point 1 without loss. Yeah, you're right. The left-hand, right-hand opening combo here, but different styles as well in there as well, Nick. So there's a little bit for the bowlers to contend with. Obviously a lot of experience with Bresnan taking the new rock here, but yeah, I quite like these two opening together.
Douthwaite with his outfielders being at square leg, and third man Douthwaite plays the first ball up to mid-off, and there's no run. Just 1 off 3 balls. Crisis time for Morgan.
How long do you get to play yourself in, Mike? About 3 balls?
I think he's just played himself in. It's at his time. 1 ball, that'll do.
Fair enough.
Let's get on with it.
Dan Douthwaite facing up the right-hander. Bright orange boots. Tim Brasnan playing his first limited overs game, and Douthwaite pushes it out into the offside, and again there is no run. So an excellent start in his new colours for Brasnan.
But it's a good question, Nick. It is. When you bat and you get a dot ball, then another one comes, it really does build, and you really feel the pressure is on you and all eyes are on you to do something and try and rescue the over with a boundary.
Brasnan with a very accurate start, then runs towards us and bowls to Douthwaite, who works it on the leg side and calls for a single up to mid-on as they jog through. He's off mark as well, and Glamorgan a 2 without loss. Yes, will the pressure be en route to go big on this last delivery of the first over?
I think they've got slightly different jobs in there. I think Billy Root's probably got more of a licence to see himself in for 3 or 4 overs, but I think Douthwaite's absolutely there for a bit of destruction and score some quick runs straight away.
Root faces up and tries to work on the leg side. He might have got a bit of bat on it, or it might have come off the thigh pad. They've jogged through for a single. It's given us a leg by, so just 3 runs off Brasnan's first over here on BBC Sport Online with Clive Eakin from BBC CWR alongside me. He'll be sharing commentary, expert opinion from Mike Powell, and we'll have a BBC Radio World's update in a couple of minutes' time. But Clive, to start us off at least with over number 2.
Yes, and Ollie Stone, good to see him back. Played in the first Barbados Trophy match, then injured in and around the England squad this year, and he's back. And he'll be bowling first to Root. 1 slip in place. Sun shining now, and it's obviously the Cardiff. It's such a shame, really, as Stone comes into bowl. Right arm over. Straight away. Has he got it? He has. His first ball. Root caught behind. The delivery drifting away. Root a little early onto it. Michael Burgess takes a catch, and it's 3 for 1. Glamorgan in the second over.
Yeah, Billy Root just hanging back then. He's innocuous sort of line length, warmed up delivery really, and just hung back and just prodded the bat in, getting a fine edge through to the keeper. Great start for Warwickshire. Glamorgan 3 for 1.
Great start for Ollie Stone. I did mention Ed Pollock's role in that semi-final victory for the Bears over Glamorgan in 2017. Ollie Stone also played an important part, taking 3 wickets.
Update for BBC Radio Wales listeners. Glamorgan 3 for 1 in the second over, so not greatest of starts. They've lost Billy Root for just a single, cut behind off the paceman Ollie Stone, as Glamorgan look to repeat their win over Gloucestershire yesterday, and Birmingham Bears playing for the first time after their opening match was rained off. So in Old Trafford, England against Pakistan. England have won the toss and will bowl first. That's live on BBC television at 1:15. Here, online commentary, Glamorgan 3 for 1 in the second over.
So, who have we got? Is it?
It'll be probably Balburney.
Yes, I think it is. Andrew Balburney.
Wearing 63. One down from Tim van der Houten in numbers.
Ollie Stone, right arm over. Right-hander now in place. Plays that away to mid-off. An accurate delivery throw from Ollie Stone. And it remains 3 for 1. Yeah, I'd say this is the sort of day where I suspect a few people might have rocked up, making a late decision to turn up with the nice weather, and we've had a good vocal crowd, no doubt. We're not going to hear a "Come on, you Bears" all day. That one's played better players do it. That's played back Stone, another good accurate delivery. Balburney. And great to have you on, Michael Powell. We always used to say there's only 2 Michael J. Powells.
It's very strange. I think he used to get us together for photos whenever we go up to Birmingham. Ridiculous.
He used to do a commentary as well on T20 to see other Michael J. Powell. He was in the commentary box when the ball sailed through the window at Edgbaston for a game. That was also another good accurate delivery. He's managed to get it away. Balburney was in the air past the vacant second slip area, and he is not. Is he off mark? Yes, he is off mark. So a single to Balburney, and it's 4 for 1 of the second over. So batter's not finding it easy to start with. First, the one slip seems to have gone a bit wider now. There's a bigger gap between the wicketkeeper and slip. Michael Burgess keeping wicket this year. Tim Ambrose is still at the club. This next one is on leg stop and it's pushed out to Noff by Douthwaite. This is a really good tight start from Ollie Stone. Stone can hear all the players now, of course. He'll encouraging each other. And Stone comes into bowl and it's clubbed away. That's a good shot. It's the first boundary of the innings. Clubbed away through long off for 4 from Douthwaite. So a good end to the over for Glamorgan. A good start for the Bears, taking the wicket of Billy Root. But with that 4, Douthwaite moves on 5. 5 runs off the over in total. It's 8 for 1 after 2.
Yeah, strong shot there from Douthwaite. Just giving himself a little bit of room to the leg side, and Ollie Stone following with a full delivery, but enough leverage just to pump that ball back past, as you say, through mid off. 4 runs. Nice end to the over, Glamorgan.
Strong hitter is Dan Douthwaite, around about the 6'2", 6'3" mark, and strongly built as well. So it looks as though it's going to be Bresnan to continue from the River Taff end. He's in, bowls, and that's fenced away through the offside by Balbirnie. That one will go the boundary as well. Well, it's nicely timed, Mike. I didn't think he'd hit it that hard.
No, yeah, he just got to the left-hand side of the field there at point, and his outfield's reasonably quick. Obviously in great nick at the moment with the amount of cricket's been played on it. But yeah, raced away to the boundary there. Back-to-back boundaries. Nice little period here for Glamorgan.
12 for 1. Both batsmen, Balbirnie and Douthwaite, on 5. Bresnan is in again, and that one's swung out to square leg, and he's gone. Andrew Balbirnie caught at square leg, picked out the fielder on the boundary. 12 for 2, Glamorgan, and Tim Bresnan has his first wicket in the limited overs colours of Birmingham Bears.
Interesting there, shot. I mean, he had one fielder out there on the leg side square, and that's the ball ended up. Not smart as the batting, because Bresnan's not bought full delivery yet, so he's hammering back of length. The previous delivery went before back of length on the offside. The only danger there now is that pull shot. So yeah, not smart batting there, and a nice response from Bresnan there.
Off troops Andrew Balbirnie, out for 12 yesterday. He managed to hold out somehow a short fine leg. I'm not quite sure how he managed it. One of the worst balls faced by Glamorgan. But Andrew Salter took a wicket, his 4th wicket, with an equally dreadful delivery that I thought may well have been called a no ball. So Balbirnie's gone. I presume it is Chris Cook walking to the wicket in the bright yellow helmet and largely navy strip. Glamorgan have gone very dark navy this year. Fashion fans, having a look at some of the material, I thought it was actually black at one point. It is as dark a navy as you could get. Cook made half century yesterday. Strike rate of 141 in the competition last year, but the Glamorgan skipper wouldn't really want to be coming to the wicket in the 3rd over. 12 for 2, Glamorgan. Bears striking twice, once to each bowlers. Cook scratches away at the surface and faces up to Tim Bresnan, who bowls. Cook forces on the leg side. He's timed that one nicely through mid-wicket. Could run away for 4. Fielders off in pursuit, but that has crossed the boundary. And timing again, Mike.
Yeah, time again is obviously in good form at the moment. The back end of the Gloucester game. Yeah, that's outfield's raced away. I think it's all going to get quicker. Watch that later on.
Something of a surprise, given that we've had a fair bit of rain in South Wales over the last few days, and of course Thursday's game here against Worcestershire was washed out. Bresnan here into Cook, who's forced onto defensive play into mid-on. No run. 16 for 2, Glamorgan in the 3rd over, being delivered by Tim Bresnan. You must have played against him once or twice, Mike.
Yeah, he's a skillful bowler, Bresnan. He'll bring a lot to this Warwickshire. You know, with the experience he's got, but he's not if it's the back end is really got to offer in front of it. Facing Bresnan, very deceptive. He's actually a lot quicker and hits the bat a lot harder than you actually think he will.
So, got that square field back and 3rd man back, 2 loud outside the ring in these opening 6 overs power play. As Bresnan bowls, work off his leg spike hook. There'll be a couple of runs here down to backward square. As O's runs round and does the fielding. It was he who took the catch to dismiss Andrew Balbirnie, and Cook moves on to 6 very quickly indeed. 18 for 2, Glamorgan, having won the toss and chosen to bat here on BBC's Board Online, BBC CWR, and also via the Glamorgan website with video stream. Bresnan pound in, bowls again to Cook, who taps this one down to 3rd man, and we'll go through for a single. 19 for 2, Mike.
Yeah, just a little bit of recovery mode from Morgan for a couple of overs. He wouldn't want to lose another wicket with the next over. Only pick up, single, pick up, 2 if we can, and just move quietly through the years, building himself up nicely, like it.
So 9 off that over, albeit a wicket in terms of runs on the board. In fact, it was 11 off that over, double figure over for Glamorgan. So in terms of runs on the board, it's a decent enough start. Einstein bowling one, very successful over, though he was hit for the last ball, and immediately he is being replaced by Henry Brooks. And Brooks poised, better gets ready.
No slip.
He's taking the slip out.
Yeah, I find that quite strange. There's some good carry that I've seen so far on this wicket. I may be proven wrong here, but I think there's more chance of going edge than catching someone on a drive.
In comes Brooks, and it's hit away into the covers and fielded there by Jitan Patel. Throw there from Patel. Throwing was the thing he hardest when he got back to training after 40 years of age now, and after a few months off. He did a bit of the throwing, was testing him a little bit. He's not too far out there, he's inside the circle. We're in the first 6 overs, so it's 2 fielders now down the boundary. They're currently third man and square legs. Brooks, number 10 comes in, bowl, wrapped, cook and pad, and they're going to throw a leg by the shot at the time. I think would have made it anyway, and it's the second leg by the innings, and it takes Glamorgan 20 for 2.
Can't say Hotel can complain, only 40, Darren. Stevens would say down in Gallagher signed a new contract and they'll take him 45 next year.
It's not until 50 that your arm goes there. Mine went years ago, but then that much the wrong side of 50.
It wasn't much to go.
It wasn't much to start with.
Well, Brooks has got a long way from that. Comes in the bowl to Southwaite, and well, the slip certainly going to stop that one at the very least. That's gone down to third man. It is off the pads. There was a strangled appeal from Michael Burgess, the wicket keeper. It's another leg by. 1 for 2. And, so Brooks back. Interesting start to the game. Runs been scored, but wickets been taken as well. The boundary's already hit. Brooks comes into a bowl, and that's another boundary. That's pulled nicely onto the leg side. It's a little bit, but rolls towards the hole on the green, and that is 4 runs to Cook. Nicely aggressive shot. Here's second boundary, 25 for 2.
Yeah, played him very well. 6 outs to most delivery, so anything short he'll punish very, very quickly. But it's interesting, all these Warwickshire players may have ever played a 2020 game here. There's knowledge of where to set the field and how to bowl on this wicket. They want much in the tank.
Here comes Brooks, pitches that one up, spade in the ground, well fielded, and just through for the one, but a good stop by captain Will Rhodes, preventing that going through to the boundary. 26 for 2. And one fielding there early on, costing a run, but that's a good piece of fielding by Rhodes, and in comes Brooks. Once again, still no slip in play. That's on leg. Star can't be brought there. Not quite picked up by Southwaite as he pulls onto the leg side, and he will get 2. The sweeper is able to field it. 2 more runs though. And it's 28 for 2 at the end of that over, from which 9 runs came. So Morgan.
Gloucestershire had music yesterday, to be fair.
I wonder whether some would be still over for it.
Yes.
It always looks like a second level game, a really high standard.
Yeah. Or pre-season, as you said, warm up. As new over, sees Cook leg glancing down towards backwards square, and they'll jog through very easily for 2 runs. So, Stone switching. Now, out of my sight, player down there appears to have slipped.
Yeah, he slid the ball Simon Jones-esque in Brisbane, then left his knee behind him, but he's up.
The hose, it's okay.
Walking it off. I think only pride's been dented with anything else.
Yeah, a bit of a soft surface on top, I think, because of all that rain recently. Stone runs towards us at 30 for 2 and bowls to Cook, who turns the wrists on that and just runs it down to third man for a single. Steve James, enjoy that if he's watching and listening. 31 for 2. As Southwaite faces up with the orange boots on. They're a bit of a marker, aren't they? They make a statement.
Yeah, you've got to score some runs if you can win there to bat.
31 for 2, 5th over, BBC Sport Online, CWR and the Glamorgan website. As Southwaite doesn't time one, stepping back, trying to hit it, I think, over wide long on, and it ends up at long off for a single.
Yeah, not quite going for that with him though. We can see he's trying to move through the gears and trying to push things along, which is obviously his job to do at the top of the order, but like I say, not quite middling it, but only a matter of time, I think.
Just an experience, did it in a intra-squad game pre-season, and that's about it for Southwaite opening, as Stone is into bowl to Chris Cook. Short ball, Cook tries to hook it, and doesn't get anything on it, and it goes through to Burgess. Good variation there from the bowler.
Yeah, and just we're 4.5 overs into this game. It's the first variation we've had of any kind from the Warwickshire attack. It's also been back for length, if anything, but that's the first tempo. I don't think we've seen a slow ball yet, so I think I want you the way forward on this wicket.
32 for 2 in Sophia Sunshine. Stone into Cook again. That's down leg side. That'll be called a wide by umpire Blackwell. 33 for 2. Yeah, still looking like pre-season, although the players, well, they'll be warmed up for 4-day games. This is still very early in the one-day format, the T20 format, so there'll be a few players playing only their first or second games in the Glamorgan side. Here comes Stone again to Chris Cook, who drives into the offside, and he's timed that one nicely as well. It is running 4 runs out to the point boundary up that big empty grandstand away to our right, and Glamorgan move to 37 for 2.
Yeah, I think it's going to be disappointing. They're dragging one down leg side for the wide, and follow-up delivery is short and wide, inviting Cook with a cut shot with no fielder out there, so yeah, I'll be disappointed with that.
Reminder that Pakistan been put into bat by England in the T20 International, 5-0 in the first over at Old Trafford, as Stone is in to bowl to Cook, who takes a pace down pitch but then gets a good ball up in the block that he just chips along the ground to mid-wicket. So 9 runs off the 5th over of the innings, 37 for 2, Cook 19, Dowthwaite 8 with Ivy Kin and Mike Powell.
Indeed, the last over of the power play to come. 37 for 2, first 5 overs. 7 for 37 runs in the first 5. Mike, obviously, felt to have lost the 2 wickets, but it's not a bad start by Glamorgan.
No, I think like you said, they were kept quite nicely here. They pick up some easy boundaries. Warwickshire will be disappointed with it. They're not really trying to force it, and they're picking off these bad deliveries that Warwickshire feed them.
So it's going to be Tim Bresnan changing ends. And this first delivery is launch time. That's going to be the first 6. Terrific strike from Dowthwaite. Pick that up. It's an over the top over, long on for the first 6 of the innings.
Yeah, Dowthwaite just suggesting the Cook there may have been a slower ball at the back of the hand that he's latched with mid on mid off. All you have to do is get those in the field. He's got hold of it and he's putting things forward.
43 for 2. In comes Bresnan, right arm over the ball, just straight on the leg stump. It's launched in the end, just short of Will Rose, who also shies at the stumps. Will Rose at mid, and I think for a moment Dowthwaite was worried there. So he just a little early on that one, locked up in the air, but spied Will Rose, and they scampered through for a single. 44 for 2. Let's see if you can get 50 off the power play. That's a pretty decent tally. Glamorgan are close to that. Bresnan bowling again on the leg stump. He's not quite hold that, trying to pull it. It's gone to back of square leg, and he'll take a single. Bresnan got a bit frustrated. Yorkshire wasn't using all formats. He's come here with the intention of playing in all formats. He turns Jita Patel's limbering up, so he make him come in after the power play. That one is a scar. This should be out. So it's gone to mid wicket, and it is taken comfortably there at mid wicket. And that is the end of Dowthwaite having hit that 6. He's gone. It's 45 for 3.
Yeah, it looks like he was likely caught in two minds here, whether go all the way for 6 or try to roll his wrist and trying to keep it down. I think he'd better going all the way and trying to get 6. He ended up top edge in that ball and getting caught eventually at mid-wicket. Just when he started to get going and showing a bit of promise here, Dowthwaite's got Dowthwaite. And
a debut catch for Jake Lintott. That was a pretty straightforward one. Side high in the air, no other fielder near it, and he claimed the catch. So a good little cameo from Dowthwaite, but he's gone. He did a 6 and a 4. In that 15, and Bresnan has his 2nd wicket.
Yeah, not an awful lot of the strike actually. That was only the 11th ball he'd received. So Chris Cook, the man, accelerating at the moment.
It's Kieran Carlson, looks like, to come to the crease.
Yeah, yesterday we had Marchant to Langra at 5 in Bristol, which was an interesting experience. Hit one boundary and then was bowled straight away, which I suppose is pretty much par for the course, but if he gets going, he'll get going, but they haven't gone down that route today.
Cook on strike, the batter's crossed. Oh, is he on strike?
Yes.
Yes, he is. Bresnan comes into bowl to him and he just pushes that one neatly onto the left side for a single. 46 for 3.
Yeah, nice time for Kieran Carlson to come in here. 15 overs left of the Glamorgan's innings, plenty of time to get himself in, feed Cook as much strikes as he can until he feels comfortable. Very quick between the wickets, Carlson.
Bresnan just having a chat with Will Rhodes, to Yorkshireman of course. And Bresnan, if the slip in place, by right arm over to the new batter who plays himself in by defending that one at the offside. So the end of the power play. Good recovery, having been hit for 6 off the first ball of the over there by Tim Bresnan. In the end, it was 8 runs off that over. Is that 45 or 46?
46.
46, I do beg your pardon. 9 runs off that over and a wicket. So the last 4 overs yielded 38 runs, but they did lose 2 wickets. The end of the power play, Glamorgan are 46 for 3.
It's interesting. I think Warwick should be quite happy with the 3 wickets within that power play, but probably leaked too many runs, I think, for they'll be happy with that. They'll definitely take the 3 wickets in the first 5.
So Jeetan Patel into the attack. Another gentleman whom you will have faced, Mike.
Yes, yes. It doesn't make me feel too old. Boys are still playing a play, I'm quite happy with that.
He's by a country mile the Bears' top wicket taker in this format, with 135 for the Bears. The next highest is Neil Carter's 81.
Here comes Patel then from the River Taff end in bowl to Cook, who's driving up to long on for a single. Just having a look. Did you succeed against Patel, Mike, or do you remember much of your record against him?
I don't think many players have succeeded against Patel in this form. Wily character, a lot of different paces, different angles. Very good. I think actually Glamorgan's Andrew Salter spent a winter with him working a number of years ago.
Yeah, well remembered. In New Zealand, as Carlson gets tipped up and plays that one to short mid-wicket, and there's no run.
And Salter speaks very, very highly of him as a coach. He was excellent.
As Patel in again, economical run, and Carlson takes a single to get off the mark up to long on. I thought Andrew Salter was just looking for an excuse to ride his bike up and down New Zealand, but
don't get started on his bikes.
Well, you're a fellow biker, aren't you?
Brought it in today, actually. If you're not going to bring it in today, you never will.
Fair enough. Glamorgan ticking along, 48 for 3. Patel bowls and Cook gets in a right muddle as the ball works on the leg side. There's a shy at the stump that the striker, non-striker's end misses, but I think Cook was more or less home. It's well backed up, and they've scampered through for the single. Carlson back on strike. 1 off 3 balls so far for the 22-year-old. As Carlson works that one down towards backward square, and they go through for the single again. Take the 50 up, but as you say, Mike, wily campaigner. There have been no freebies in this first over.
No, you know how quick he gets through the over as well. Before you know it, overs just tick by when he's got the ball in his hand.
There's something notable in the Glamorgan attack yesterday, as Patel bowls and Cook flicks it away towards deep mid-wicket. There's a diving save. They might come back for a second run. They decide against shot work on the boundary. Keeps them down to another single. So just the 5 singles off the Patel over. 51 for 3 are Glamorgan after 7 here on BBC CWR, BBC Sport Online and the Glamorgan website.
Henry Brooks with the stop there. Good piece of fielding and got the good throw in. 50 coming in, I make it 41 balls for the loss of 3 wickets.
Acceleration needed sometime soon.
Now we are going to see Josh Lintott, who's got rather less hair than photographs of him ahead of signing now. He's had a bit of a shave on the top of the head. So
he's gone for the full lockdown lop off, hasn't he?
Had a little bit of aggression. So a return to T20 cricket for him. He's had a couple of years playing in and around the sort of Warwickshire second 11. His first delivery is a good one. That's beaten Cook. Yeah, he had previously been Gloucestershire, played I think 40 T20 games for Hampshire, hasn't played for a couple of years. He played a few second 11 and trial games for the Bears last season, but only now has he earned a place in the side. He's already taken a catch today. The next ball is played out onto the leg side for a single by Cook.
Yeah, those first 2 deliveries turns. If you see in the 2020 games the wickets they play on their turn, maybe the water we've had around here, maybe just gripping slightly on a cold, damper wicket than we used to see in the 2020 season.
So he's got a slip in place, left arm spin, and that one's a little bit short, and it's clubbed away by Carlson. I just feel slightly missed out there. He played it to the man on the long arm boundary for a single. Of course, the fielders are able to spread out a bit now. We've had the power play, so I'm going to have 4 fielders inside the fielding circle. and that's all that the Bears have got. They've taken a slip out now as well, so it's a pretty defensive field. And this next one is quite wide, and too wide for Cook to reach it, but not quite wide enough to be called wide. Didn't really move his feet there, Cook. Failed to make contact, and it's a dot ball. Lintott wearing number 25, tosses the ball from one hand to the other, comes in to bowl, and that one's launched in the air, and he's going to get away with that, not going exactly where he intended. Won't go all the way for 4, and he'll get 2 runs there, will Chris Cook. As Jitan Patel feels, going for a more expansive shot. They might want to try and go after Lintott, Michael, once he's settled in a bit. This next one is played onto the offside for a single, 56 for 3.
Yeah, I agree. I think with Lintott, the ball, left arm leg's been, both coming back into the 2 right-handers are there. But I know Cook, he's very strong from the crease. He doesn't have to venture outside of his crease to try and hit any 6 over the top. Relatively short, straight bounces as they normally are down here in Cardiff. So he's quite happy hitting on the crease. Yeah, I think they'll try and put a pressure on him, and I think they'll try and push him and hit him to the leg side with this in. A couple of deliveries he pushed across Cook there, and that's why he ended up hitting over the offside.
5s off the last 2 overs then. Glamorgan 56 for 3 off 8. And Patel to continue as Chris Cook checks his guard off umpire Blackwell. Only seeing a limited number of overs in umpires in each region. Cook tries the reverse sweep and doesn't get much, if anything, on it, and it's fielded by wicketkeeper Burgess, and there's no run.
It's a good option. There's only one fielder backward of point, so if he gets any bat on that, he's picking up runs.
Patel, the veteran Kiwi, bowled, and Cook whips it down towards backward square and just take the single there as throw comes in to Burgess. 57 for 3. In the 9th over, Glamorgan having won the toss and chosen to bat Glamorgan with the same team that beat Gloucestershire yesterday. As Patel bowls to Carlson, who bowls out towards mid-wicket, and there's a diving half-stop. Oh, and the fielder's hurt his shoulder. That's nasty. It's gone for 4, and I think it's Brooks who has fallen awkwardly. He did really well to stop or get anything on it. It trickled into the boundary ropes, but Brooks has whacked his shoulder there.
Oh, that was ugly the way he fell.
That was
I mean, he could hop his shoulder
a brave attempt at a stop, wasn't it, really?
Well, he's onto one knee.
Hopefully that doesn't come out.
I think he thought at first there might be a catch in there, didn't he?
Well, he was fully committed.
Physio giving him attention on the boundary.
Hopefully it's not a collarbone, hopefully it's not. He's up and around, so hopefully he's just jarred it.
Yes, well, it doesn't look the worst.
No, you've got Jeff Evans, the umpire, there just replacing his divots that he's made. You can see how wet that ground is, and as he dived, there was no give. He just stopped straight away, and that's probably where he's jarred. Hopefully he was going to slide, but unfortunately for him, he stopped dead his tracks.
It looks as though he wants to continue. How many overs has he bowled?
He's only bowled 1, isn't he? So it would be a problem for the Bears if he didn't continue.
Going back to the shot that Carlson played there, he almost pulled the ball, didn't he? It just shows how much bounces in this wicket. Hanging back, a lot of bat, and it almost went all the way for a 6.
Yeah, it was well placed, wasn't it, between square leg and mid-wicket. Could have hauled out to either fielder. And it looks Dominic Sibley was ready to come on, but isn't doing so. So looks as though Brooks is able to continue. How much that'll affect his bowling, we shall see as Patel is into Carlson. Who bowls him. Got one through Carlson's defences. Glamorgan 61 for 4. Carlson has gone for 7, 4, and then out, as that one was just given a little bit of flight. Carlson hitting across the line.
So that just shows the variations of skills. If you've got the ball before he actually bowled into the wicket, it bounced up and Carlson was able to pull the ball. That one just a little bit more air, a little bit fuller. Carlson unfortunately got a little bit close to him, played around it. Very, very skillful bowler.
So Jitan Patel is in on the action. First wicket to fall to spin today. We've had 2 for Tim Bresnan and 1 for Ollie Stone. batsmen out. Root 1, Douthwaite 15, Balbirnie 5, and now Carlson 7. And, well, as so often this season, in the 4-day stuff as well, Chris Cook is a man with a lot on his shoulders, and they've been over-relying on him.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Carlson, who's just left there, hasn't really got going this season. Again, so got himself in, threatened the boundary beforehand, and unfortunately got out. Who is this comes to this?
I think it'll be Callum.
Is that DeLange?
Push DeLange up to 6.
He looks big enough.
Looks big enough. It looks bigger than... Certainly looks bigger. Yes, it is DeLange. Bigger than Callum Taylor by about a foot square and half foot high.
I think plan A, B and C with DeLange is 6'6".
Here we go.
Forwards.
Where's Cow Corner? Are you awake over there? Right, the ball's coming your way. Long on, you wake up as well. Patel in to bowl to DeLange. That's dragged down short and flat, and they'll go through for single after a little bit of hesitation, but Cook is safely home. That's not part of the plan, you see, taking singles when DeLange is batting. It's clear the front leg and hit it towards mid-wicket or long on. That is the plan.
He's a big, strong man.
That's plan A, B and C, I think. Plan D was take the single. 62 for 4 in this over as Patel is in, and that's driven down towards long off. They'll take a single. Well, Chris Cook is under 29. 63 for 4 after 9 overs.
7 runs and a wicket from that over. Bears have used 5 bowlers so far. Tot is to continue. Underway in the T20 International Pakistan after a good start, 35 out loss in the 5th over. Yeah, Glamorgan 63 for 4 after 9 overs. And Lintott with a pretty defensive field, gives that one a bit of air. It's worked into a large space on the leg side, easy single there, nobody wants it. Cook moves on to 30, 64 for 4.
I think the thinking behind DeLange coming down, right, he got 100 the other day against Northampton, so he can hit the long ball. He's a little bit of form, but I think while 2 spinners are on, I think it'll suit his long range hitting. That's why he's got a licence against the 2 spinners.
Lintott, little skip, he's put a slip in to bowl to the new... Oh, he's dropped it slip as he goes for a big hoik, gets an edge. It was a difficult chance, but a diving attempt and the ball is spilled, and it remains 64 for 4. Is that Tim Bresnan fielding that slip? I think it is. This next one, he's gone for a big swing and missed that as well. It's good stuff from Lintott. Burgess takes it behind the stumps.
Slip. Head in hands.
Wow. Lintott seeming enjoying himself at the moment. Comes in to bowl. That was a good delivery, speeding towards the pads of DeLange, who settles for working it onto the leg side for a single. Was indeed Tim Bresnan. It was a difficult chance, to be fair.
Very difficult. I mean, he did well to get a little bit of arm on it to stop it going for 4.
Yeah. So Cook on strike, no slip for him, and that's gone past the outside edge. It's good stuff from Lintott. 65 for 4.
It's just enough in the wicket for him to be effective, isn't it? And spinning in, that one just scooting on past the outside edge. Very good bowling.
And he comes again. It's a bowl. That was a flatter delivery, and it's worked away into the offside for a single by Cook. Take the score to 66 for 4. And that's the end of an over which was just 3 runs. The halfway stage of the innings at 66 for 4. The first 5 overs yielded 37 for 2. The second 5 have yielded 29 also for 2.
Yeah, the Bears just about in the driving seat at the moment, Mike.
Just about, yeah. I think with the wickets in hand there, I think they're just in front.
This game can change incredibly quickly. Jeetan Patel, we'll hope it changes even more in the visitors' favour. Captain, former captain, current captain, as Cook clips that one up towards square leg, and they'll jog through for a single. Marchant DeLange, South African international, has played 6 T20 internationals, but probably didn't bat at number 6 in any of those. 67-4, Patel to DeLange. This could be an interesting confrontation. will Patel have too much experience? Fires that one in. De Lange goes for the pulled shot, misses, but it's down the leg side, so it's called a wide.
Very quick delivery, not giving any air. De Lange get underneath. It's a short chip for De Lange straight towards the taff.
Do you think Patel's going to bowl them all at pace, maybe?
I think he bowl Yorkers very quickly.
Stays the scene, and bright yellow shirts are the visitors. As Patel is in now to bowl to De Lange. That's outside off stump and driven hard down to long off, but just a single all along the ground for De Lange. He's not in there to pick up singles. He's moved on to 3, 69 for 4.
He's in there for a good time.
Not for a long time. Patel in bowls, and Cook goes big on the leg side. He's cleared them surely. That's soaring 15 metres over the ropes at deep backward square, and Chris Cook gets a maximum 75 for 4.
Yeah, as we said earlier, Cook's very comfortable hitting from the crease. Sweep slog being one of his favourite shots.
Really got underneath that one, hit a long way in the air. Here's Patel back at him, and Cook chips it just over short mid-wicket up towards long on for a single. That one might have stopped on him a little bit, or maybe Cook just checks his shot in time.
Yeah, gripped in the wicket it looked like from here. It's a little bit in this wicket for the spinners.
As yesterday at Bristol, a little bit sticky. With the rain around in recent days. I know the wicket itself isn't directly exposed, but it can affect conditions. As Patel to De Lange, back on his stop ball, plays it to short mid-wicket. Shot De Lange in there to open his shoulders, but hasn't actually made contact in anger as yet. As Patel skips in, bowls, and De Lange smashes that one over square leg for 6 more. Second maximum of the over. That is why he's batting at 6.
Yeah, that's right. It's strange that Patel was given flight to the last ball of the over. Very strange for a spinner to do that. As you saw in top, the previous over, his 6th delivery, just got it in nice and quick, nice and full, just to get out to the over as quietly as you can. Patel just giving a bit of air there. Very strange decision.
16 off that over. Second double figure over the innings. We've had 3 nines, but that's by far the most expensive over. And Patel, I think perhaps he should have retired earlier. He's going back to long off. It's Cook. He's a 6 also, that's over. And he hits that one hard off Lintop, but straight to the fielder on the cover, so he gets no run. Lintop, so far, it's gone well for him. He goes for a reverse sweep. There's 2 fielders for that shot, so he doesn't get it away, Chris Cook. If he gets it fine enough, he can get runs, but there are 2 fielders there to stop that. It's a dot ball. Lintop tosses the ball again from one hand to the other, comes in on middle and leg. It's worked away onto the leg side. They run the first one hard, thinking there might be a second, but there isn't. Good stop and throw coming in from Sam Hain. It's 1 run, 83 for 4.
That's the payoff with having De Lange in their bat at the moment. Between the wickets, he'd be relatively slow compared to a Wagner or a Carlson.
De Lange is on strike now. McCubbin's got an edge and beat him in the previous over. This one, he's gone past the outside edge with a quicker ball there. That was a lovely delivery. And getting plenty of encouragement, as you can hear from the Bears team. That's Chetan Patel, probably you could hear down there, just in front of us. Giving Lintop plenty of encouragement. Here he comes. And that one, though, he's got hold of, but he's played it to the fielder, and it's caught by Sam Hain, who makes sure he stays inside the boundary. Big wicket for Jake Lintop. De Lange got hold of that to a point, but didn't quite manage to get it away. Long boundaries here at Sophia Gardens, and Sam Hain, composed, took the catch. A fair way in from the boundary rope in the end, and it's 83 for 5.
Yeah, that's the boundaries at Glamorgan. Straight, very, very short, but wide of the wicket. It just gets longer and longer, and unfortunately for De Lange there, he got caught on the boundary with his sweep slog.
It really happened. He hit the 1-6, didn't he? But it didn't really happen for him. Out there.
Seems to be the running theme at the moment. Seems to be boundary, then we seem to be picking up a wicket. So Glamorgan losing wickets at regular intervals here. Never really getting going, but Cook being the mainstay out there at the moment. He moves on to 40. Glamorgan 83 for 5.
It's been a good innings from Chris Cook. and looking a very important one at the moment. Who's a new man in there? So we've got
Callum Taylor.
Callum Taylor in now.
4 games last season, so 6 overall for the 22-year-old from Newport via Australia. Born here, spent his youth out in Australia, came back to play for Newport and got picked up by Glamorgan.
Slip in place for him, Lintott. Comes in to bowl to him and it's just pushed back to the bowler and no run. Well, it's worked pretty well so far. I've enjoyed Lintott into the attack for the Bears. That was just 1 run and a wicket in that over. That is actually the tightest over. So we've gone from the most expensive over at the innings to the tightest straight after.
Only one outcome there, wasn't there? Brisbane or Newport.
Chose Newport. What more can you want? 83 for 5, though I see they are closing the Transporter Bridge for maintenance for a couple of years, so that's one of its main attractions.
I think that was a deciding factor, do you?
Absolutely. Nowhere else but in Britain apart from Middlesbrough can you cross the river on a gondola like that. 83 for 5. Apologies to Birmingham listeners who won't know what the heck we're talking about. 83 for 5, and it's Brooks having recovered, it appears, from that shoulder knock that thought might put him out of the game. Bowls and Cook drives up towards mid-off. There's a scrambling stop by the fielder up there, and they just go through for a single. Right back on the edge of the circle fielders, as so often, apart from point at the moment, or back point. Cover is a little bit in, but mid-on, mid-off on the edge. Now mid-wicket is drifting in as well for the newer batsman. Callum Taylor yet to get off the mark, but does so with a flashing uppercut down towards wide. Third man that's just been tapped back inside the boundary. Excellent fielding work has come down to 2 rather than 4.
Yes, Ed Pollock there with the save.
I think Warwick's ground field has been excellent so far. The 12 overs they've been out. They've had 1 missed field, I think it was, in the opening over. The backward point beyond that, it's been all run saving stuff that I've seen. It's been excellent.
86 for 5. Taylor faces up again, plays on the leg side. Cook was interested in a single, it wasn't really there. There's a shy at the stumps from Hayne, and he missed, but I think Cook was safely back at home. But new batsmen are finding it hard to get going. Everyone apart from Cook, it's the same story as yesterday really. Everyone apart from Cook struggling slightly with the pace of the wicket maybe. As Brooks is in to bowl to Taylor, who dabs down to third man for a single. 87 for 5 Glamorgan in his 13th over. And a sun-kissed Sophia Gardens, well, just about.
What a shame there isn't a crowd in. It'd be a great atmosphere now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, lovely Sunday afternoon. Bit of a family audience as well as the hardened Friday night regulars. 87 for 5 when things might get a little noisy as the game goes on. Brooks bowls and Cook drives into the offside and will take a single. 88 for 5. You'll have fond memories of some of those crowds singing you to victory with a bit of lubrication along the way.
Yeah, it was the in-between season crowd, wasn't it? At Cardiff City and the rugby crowd in as well, watching a bit of cricket. Volatile, I think you call it.
With a few visits to the bar in between. 88 for 5, 13th over. Glamorgan need at least another 50 or 60, you feel, as Taylor pulls to mid-wicket, gets a single. 89 for 5. But a lot of batsmen finding it difficult to judge the pace this week. Just the 6 off that 14th over, Mike.
Yeah, what Warwickshire have done well, I think this is what the Seamers have done well. They've bowled back the length. That's been their plan, and when they've stuck their guns and they've hit that back length, it's very difficult to either run the ball down or pull the ball and trying to get, ball moving around the infield. But where they've gone wrong, they've slightly bowled down leg side every now and then, and if they've gone too short, it's been easy for the batsmen to free their arms out. But when they stick their guns and their players right, which is straight and back the length, it's very difficult for the Glamorgan players.
So Lintott, the bowler's last over. Still just the 5 bowlers used by the Bears. They haven't got a huge number of options. Will Rhodes will be the 6th bowler. As Lintott comes into bowl, plays that to long off for a single. Aside of that, they haven't really got much, by the way, of options. So we'll be pleased that Lintott has got through his 4 overs. And certainly for the first 3, pretty unscathed. He comes in now to bowl to Cook. A little bit of width there for Cook. He doesn't quite take advantage of it. Drags it to long on for a single.
Oh, that was inviting now, wasn't it? Good length, slightly wide for his arms, but fortunately for Warwickshire's inside edge there to long on.
Lintott might have got away with 1 or 2, but it's been a decent effort for him. He gives out a bit of air. It's a bit of width as well, and a swing and a miss from Taylor, who just about manages to get his back foot in the crease as Burgess threatened the sumping. Lintott back again to bowl. Again a bit of width, and again the umpire's happy. Batter has a good stare down the pitch. The umpire is unmoved. 91 for 5. He comes in now. Lintott once again. He's given that a loss of air. End up being, I think, a low full toss. It's played to long on for a single. Once again, might just have got away with one a little bit there.
Yeah, it's a little bit inviting, that one, for Callum Taylor, isn't it? But pick it up properly, maybe.
Next one in to Cook. One turns into Cook, who works it away into the offside to the sweeper for a single. And that is the end of a terrific debut spell by Lintott for the Bears. He's finished, I make it 1 for 13, his 4 overs.
Excellent spell from Lintott there. It was just enough in the wicket, it was enough spin, enough change of pace and variations in line and length to keep Glamorgan batsmen guessing. Excellent 4 overs.
The sort of spell that was delivered by Prem Sisodia yesterday for Glamorgan.
Currently the most economic figures in the competition. It was at a relatively early stage, his overs. 12 runs of his 4.
Remarkable stuff from Lintott. 93 for 5. Stone and in towards us, bowls, and Cook noodles down to short fine leg, and Taylor calls him through for a single. There's a shy from Bresnan, and it's picked up by 2, and it needed to be because it evaded keeper and bowler. 94 for 5. And even a total of 140 or thereabouts, which you thought would be the minimum, is looking quite difficult to attain at the moment. 5 and a bit overs to come. Stone bowls up in the block hole. Taylor clips it away up towards long on. They might risk 2 here. No, in comes the throw, skidding along the ground from Hose in the far distance. And they just settled for the single. 95 for 5.
Saying that, Nick, I think Glamorgan have scored more runs off the seamers rather than spinners, and they've got seamers left to come, so they'll take a bit of confidence from that.
Yeah, Patel's got 1 left, the rest will be seam as Stone bowls, and Cook chips this one gently towards long on. Will they get 2 here? No, I thought he might have hit it softly enough to come back, but again, Hose promptly in off the far boundary. 96 for 5 Glamorgan. We're in the 15th over, so they had one over with a couple of 6s off Patel, but apart from that the bowlers have been by and large in control. Stone into Taylor, who's hit this one up in the air and will be caught at short fine leg. Ball just onto him a little bit quickly. Bresnan with a simple catch, and Glamorgan lose their 6th wicket with a score of 96. Mike.
Yeah, I think he caught him by surprise. I think he was going to be a full delivery. And as you say there, Nick, he looked a little bit late on that pull shot. I think he was expecting something a bit fuller. But another good wicket pick up at the right time for Warwickshire. Puts a little bit more pressure on Cook. There's still a lot of overs to deal with up there, and they're a little bit light at the moment.
So batting come, Wag, Salter, Sisodia and Van Dochten. Wag and Salter capable with the bat. And the other 2, well, capable of hitting a few, but you wouldn't necessarily expect them in this competition. That would be a bonus rather than an expected contribution if the last 2 came off, with all due respect. 96 for 6. And Morgan are going to find it difficult to accelerate from here, but don't try telling that to Graham Wag, because he is the supreme optimist in the camp.
Yeah, he's a good man to come in at this time, Graham Wagg. He's done it many, many times before, but he hits in very strange areas. But running between the wickets as well, he puts a lot of pressure on the outfielders.
Former Warwickshire player, of course, Coventry kid, Graham Wagg. Played, I think, a leading part in Glamorgan's win against the Bears at Rugby.
That's right.
In 2013, which was actually
home territory.
It was the last group match these two played before today.
Yeah, it was a nice occasion. I remember working there. It was a lovely setup.
Wish they go back.
96 for 6. Haven't played there recently, have they?
No, they played a couple of years, but they haven't recently.
Stone in to bowl Glamorgan captain Chris Cook, who's hit on the pad, works down to short fine leg. They go through for a single and leg by, as indicated by umpire Blackwell. 97 for 6. Cook remains on 46. Wagg is on to strike. Graham Wagg, who is one of those players pushing for a new contract for next season, as well, virtually half the Glamorgan squad. I think at the start of the season there were some 130 odd pros around the country who would be out of contract. Obviously a few of those have been renewed here and there, as Wagg gets one right up in the block hole from Stone. Excellent delivery to end the over. 97 for 6, just 4 off it, and the wicket. 15 overs gone here on BBC Sport Online, BBC CWR and the Glamorgan website. And the Bears on top, Mike.
Yeah, the Bears are on top, but we said previously, just losing too many wickets, the regular interval take Morgan, but they've got 2 experienced heads out there to take down these last 5 overs, probably setting a target of 10 over from here and in would be on their wish list, but 2 experienced heads out there, and I'm sure they'll get there by hook or crook.
Henry Brooks then to bowl his 3rd over, still just the 5 bowlers used, so if that is all he used, Tim Preston will bowl 1 more, Ollie Stone's got 1 more, Chetan Patel's got 1 more, and Brooks 1 more after this. He's in now, it's a shortish delivery. Cook pulls it gently onto the leg side. It's a direct hit, but long after the batter had safely got home. Wagg, Tim Preston with the throw, and it's 1 run at the end of all that. 98 for 6. Morgan, who opted to bat first. It's quite a big outfield here at Sophia Gardens. I suppose straight down the ground is your best place for
it's very
shots,
short, straight. Wide of the wicket, you're right, to stretch out a bit.
Chetan Patel is preparing to come back on. Hit for 2 sixes and 1 over. Wouldn't have enjoyed that too much. In comes Brooks to bowl to Wagg, who just pushes that neatly down to 3rd man. They're on the first one quickly. Wagg turns but can't get the second, and he moves on. He gets off the mark, takes the score to 99 for 6.
I think that'll be Graham's plan for next over and a half. Try and get Cook on strike as much as he possibly can.
It's Brooks coming in to bowl. That's a full toss over pitch. But, it's not overly punished for it. It's played onto the leg side for a single by Cook, who brings the 100 up. 100 for 6. I think that will be in 93 balls, which means the second 50 is taken 52, whereas the first took 41. They've lost 3 wickets for both those 50s. So, not finding it easy to accelerate. The Bears may have the same problem, of course, as Brooks comes into bowl to Wagg. It's a short delivery. Wagg runs it down to 3rd man. Wanted to get it a little bit finer, but there's a man out there, so he only gets a single for it. And he's trying innovative shots, Graham Wagg. 101 for 6. Did see him once playing for the Warwickshire Cricket Board, as it was known, before he'd broken through to the Warwickshire side. He very nearly beat Leicestershire single-handed in that strange period when we had the board teams playing in the 50-over competition. That was at Coventry. This one is played onto the onside for a single by Cook, who moves on to 49. 102 for 6. Dealing with singles at the moment. Michael, I guess I'll be looking the last 2 or 3 overs to really go for it. With 6 wickets down, they've got to still be a little bit careful.
Yeah, I think this is the last delivery of this over as well, so I'm sure Graham, rather than push a single, he's almost got a free licence to try and hit a 4 or 6. But yeah, he's trying to give the strike to Cook.
So Brooks, can he finish the over off? That's a full toss, and he, well, ball's hit onto the leg side, just short of the man out there. Wags frustrated, he actually almost holed out. Brooks gets away with that one. A couple of full tosses and that, which he got away with. But in the end, it's a run ball that over, and it's taken the score to 103 for 6 with 4 overs to go.
Yeah, it's interesting full tosses. If they're outside your off stump, they're very hard to hit in front of square. And luckily enough, there was enough outside off stump to make the shot difficult for Greenwag. Any more towards leg stump, they're quite easy to get hold of and pick up. So not bad delivery in the end. But leaves Greenwag on strike. Glamorgan ideally need Cook on strike as much as they can in the next 4 overs.
So Glamorgan really needing to go 10s from now on, as Patel is in to bowl. Wag brings the reverse sweep out and gets a single down to the point boundary. 105 for 6. Update for BBC Radio Wales listeners to come shortly. But Glamorgan struggling really to post a challenging total. Down the wicket comes Cook, drives and doesn't get hold of it at all, goes straight to cover. It's a dot ball, even though cover is back towards the edge of the circle. 104 for 6 it remains as Patel bowls, and Cook again gets it off the toe end of the bat up to long on. Just the single taken, and that takes Chris Cook through to a half century. It's included 3 4s and 1 6. Comes off, I think, 47 balls or thereabouts. That sort of area anyway. 105 for 6. Wag on strike, and he takes a single up to long on. Hit it straight along the ground. Glamorgan are 106 for 6. We're in the 17th over, and captain Chris Cook has kept them together with this one is cut down towards a fine backward point, and they'll go through for a single. 108 for 6 are Glamorgan. Cook on 52. Apologies for that slight confusion with the Radio Wales update, which for some reason, although I was poised to deliver it, didn't happen. Pakistan made a decent enough start in the one-dayer. Give you a score on that in a moment as Patel bowls at a full toss and Cook's hit it out wide of long on. 1 bounce and over the boundary rope for 4. Managed to find the gap there between long on and mid wicket to end the over with a boundary. 112 for 6. Cook has 56. Wag has 5. Latest from Old Trafford, Pakistan 96 for 1 in the 11th over with Baba Azam on 51 not out. Fakhar Zaman played a few matches here last season, has made 36 off 22 balls. I suspect Morgan didn't see the best of him. Just diplomatic enough way of putting it.
Gitan Patel, more expensive than usual. I'm making 1 for 36 from his 4 overs. I think for 16 off 1 over. That last over went for 9. 3 overs to go, still just 2 double-figure overs in the innings. Tim Bresnan is coming on to bowl his final over, and he's launched in the air, and that'll be 6 all right. Well, it's actually neither in the end because it's well stopped, I think. And they might be just, the fielder there, who I think is Sam Hain, opted in the end not to try and catch it because his hands were over the ropes, but his feet were inside the ropes, so he settled for parrying the ball back in and restricting him to 1 run.
I think the outfield's been excellent from Warwick. I think they've saved themselves somewhere between 8 to 10 runs.
And Bresnan to Cook. Let's get on strike. He's launched that high in the air. There's no chance stopping that one. That's a 6. It bounces just in front of the seats on the concrete. And Cook, it's his second 6. Splendid stroke over square leg.
Dangerous player Cook in this situation. Strong, batted very well from the crease here. Bresnan just angling that ball into leg stump with Cook picking it up, and that's sailing. He comfortably 20 yards over the boundary for 6.
He is on to 62. He is a big threat to the Bears in the closing stages of this innings. Bresnan comes in to bowl to him. He's trying to go for a big shot there, not quite got hold of it. Throws his head back in slight frustration. He's got a single to the sweeper on the leg side. He rehearses the shot. 120 for 6. Tim Bresnan's final over. And presumably the remaining two will be bowled by Henry Brooks and Ollie Stone. And Bresnan in again, gives him a bit of width. It's slapped down the ground. He's not got hold of that. That will be out. Jitan Patel takes the catch. Graham Wagg goes. Comfortable catch for Patel. And Bresnan has his third wicket. It's 120 for 7.
Again, just slightly back a length from Bresnan there, serving him well. Graham Wagg looking to pull that ball over the leg side, but it was probably too wide of off stump to try and drag over to the leg side, and ended up rushing him slightly, flat batting it to Law for an easy catch.
So I presume the batters will have crossed there, so they've got Cook back on strike. As Jitan tells New Zealand twang again, you can hear that in front of us.
He might as well sit in here, we can hear him so well.
Who'd have been the noisiest guys in the Glamorgan sides that he played with, Mike?
Well, one of us just left the wicket now.
Wag, yeah.
Wherever he is in the change room, we feel like he's next to you.
So, down perhaps to Chris Cook. 3 wickets left.
It's Andrew Salter to the crease.
So Cook is on strike. Field well spread out, still have to have 4 inside the circle, of course. And Cook, can he plunder some more runs off this over? They've already taken 8 off it. And that's a short, slow ball, slow bouncer. That sort of horrid shot in D20 cricket that became quite fashionable for a while. The slow, long hop, which a batter can only hit to the field on the square leg boundary and get a single. 121 for 7. Famously, Ricky Clark was said to be trying to perfect double bounce slow ball until the powers to be ruled that such a delivery would be illegal. So President perhaps using his experience age just discussing the field. He was going to bring or put Long off back. He's decided to bring him in and stick instead 2 men on the mid-wicket area boundary, and that one is hit along the ground for a single by Salter. They're going back for 2, and they'll get it because the fielder just stumbled slightly. Sam Hain, in his enthusiasm to pick up the ball and try and get the throw in, rather fell over his own feet. So it's 2 runs, 123 for 7. They did get 11 off the over despite losing a wicket. It's a third double figure over of the innings. 2 overs to go. I suppose they really go some 150, Michael. Is that still realistic?
It's realistic with the likes of Cook still in there on 64, hit the ball so well. I think that's well within their capabilities. But smart running there at the last ball of the over, actually picking 2 up when they probably should have been 1 if the fielder is in a better position. But it does do it, keep Cook on strike.
Bresnan 3 for 33 in his 4 overs.
So well bowled Tim Bresnan on one-day debut. Having of course played in the 4-day format for Warwickshire. Stone is in to bowl, and that's hit very hard back down the ground by Cook, but the trouble was that Salter had dived the ground to get out of the way, so he wasn't able to come back for a second run, Mike.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Just drilled very hard and straight. Chris Cook, who is of average height, but has got a good deal of strength in those forearms. 124 for 7. Andrew Salter on 2, faces up to Stone and tries to uppercut a bouncer outside off stump, a slowish bouncer, and doesn't get anything on it.
Yeah, it's very well bowled. It's very difficult coming later on when everyone knows your job is to try and hit boundaries, score as many runs as you can, as quickly as you can. And when the bowler's got different variations, it's very hard to settle yourself down.
Andrew Salter would have been candidate for man of the match yesterday if we had them. Faces up, and that's up in the block hole, squirted away by Salter down towards backward square, just the single, so only 2 off the first 3 balls of this penultimate over being delivered by Ollie Stone. And they're ticking down the deliveries left. Cook 65 is carrying the can. Apart from Douthwaite, no one else has reached double figures in this Glamorgan innings. Shows you how difficult they've found it to get going as Stone is in to bowl to Cook, who's gone big over mid-wicket. That's quite a long area of the ground, but even so it's cleared the ropes by 20 metres at mid-wicket. And Chris Cook is carrying this Glamorgan side to some sort of respectability. He's 71, 131 for 7.
Yeah, he's a very dangerous player in this situation, Cook. Just opens up his stance there and he's slightly off length, and Cook goes all the way for 6.
Faces up to Stone again. Short delivery that's pulled down to fine leg. Just for the single this time by Cook. Just got on top of it rather than skying it. And he's mopping his face. He's played some innings this season as Chris Cook for Glamorgan, with 2 last afternoon efforts to avoid defeat in the 4-day stuff. 50 yesterday, and now 71 not out, 72 not out today. 132 for 7. Salter has a swing and just hits it down into the pitch, bobbles up. Stone gets a hand to it. It's a dot ball. 132 for 7, 9 off, and 1 over left of this Glamorgan innings, having won the toss and chosen to bat. But no one has really got going. Down to 8:15. Cook 72 not out, and that's it.
Yeah, he's played an excellent innings here, Cook. 1 over to go, 6 balls to go. I mean, anything 10, 12, he aiming for this, the way he's striking the ball, and I think that'll put Glamorgan in a reasonable position from halfway through this game.
2 for 26 in his 4 overs, Ollie Stone, and the Bears are using just the 5 bowlers. Henry Brooks will bowl a fire low. All the fielders inside the circle are on the offside here. And they're well spread out on the leg side. Rather peculiar looking field. As Brooks comes into Cook, who launches it high in the air. He's not got hold of it. But will Patel be able to reach it? Oh, he has done well there, Jeetan Patel. And a splendid innings from Chris Cook comes to an end. He didn't quite get hold of it. Looked like he might get away with it, but Jeetan Patel, running back from mid-off, belied his 40 years and took a very well taken catch. And it's 132 for 8. It's going to be difficult now for Glamorgan to really take advantage of this final over.
Yeah, Cook going to his favoured soup slot again, but that's very well ball from Stone. Actually swung away just slightly and a little bit too far outside of off stump to try and heave that over to the leg side. But a great innings from Cook there, leaving the ground with 72 to his name. Excellent innings. Held Glamorgan innings together solely by himself.
3 sixes in that innings from Chris Cook rather, and 4 fours, and but it's come to an end now at 71. It was, I think, 55 balls,
56
balls, so that's 72. So without that, Glamorgan really would have nothing as it is. This is certainly not a gimme for the Bears when they come to bat. It'll be interesting to see how they manage, because with the exception of Cook, when batters have tried to accelerate, they've generally got into trouble so far. So Van der Gerten is the last man in. Batters cross, the Salter's on strike. It's a Yorker length delivery from Brooks. Salter gets it down to long off. They're going to think about coming back for a second, but it was never there. And they settle for 1. 133 for 8. Again, decent fielding from the Bears. They've been pretty good. That was Adam Hose. They've dropped 1 sharp slip chance. They've taken all the other chances. As we said, maybe lost 1 run to a fielding error, but no more than that. Brooks into Van der Gerten. Still the field as it was before, with everyone out on the leg side. That's played a long on for single. Again, they want a second. They know it's not there. 134 for 8. Sun shines out again on the Sophia Gardens ground. Long off is dropping back, so long leg is going to come inside the circle. Brooks bowls to Salter. So lowish full toss. Salter hits it, doesn't really time it. This time they are going to risk a second. I'm not sure whether they got there. No, they haven't. It's out.
Well fielded.
Yeah, Adam Hose with a throw. I guess at this stage worth the risk, but Hose through. Henry Brooks was over the stumps. I think it went into Brooks' hands and onto the stumps. At any rate, that's a run out, and it is the end of Van der Gerten.
You're right when you're saying that, Claire. The ground fielding was excellent. I can only think of possibly 2 where they ran a 2 to the man at mid-wicket, and we say he missed a ball at backward point. But other than that, it's been excellent, the ground field in Warwickshire. Am I right with saying we're going back to Cook? Is he one of the 2 players that the 100 competition of the Birmingham have picked up? The Cook and I think
Cook's the only Glamorgan player playing for Birmingham. DeLanger's up at Manchester.
There we are.
It was in those. I mean, who knows what'll happen to the 100 next season?
Originally, yeah. So he's just shown what the been or will be for next year.
Indeed.
As a Phoenix player.
Birmingham Phoenix, indeed.
Yeah, I don't think we've got time to get into that debate now. Mike's one of the pro 100 proponents, by and large.
In comes Brooks to bowl. New man who hits that away there. It's actually because it was Salter on strike. And Cizadia.
Sophia just will have is it 1 or 2 balls left?
It might be 1. 136 for 9. So can the Bears keep them below 400?
400?
440, I should say.
Probably below 400.
I should think so. 140. Can they keep them below 140? Brooks into bowl. And that's a lowish full toss. It's hit away. Well, that might be 4. That's a pretty decent effort. And, well, it will take them to exactly 140 for 9. But, a good shot to end the innings from Cizadia. And it is 140 for 9 at the end of their 20 overs at Glamorgan.
Well, Mark, what do you reckon of that? Is that just about on the bottom end of par, or is it below the par sort of range?
No, I think they've done actually quite well. Glamorgan there, considering how regularly they lost wickets. Obviously, a lot of that comes down to their captain, Cook, from where they've ended up with his 72. Very well put together, constructed 72. But I think they'll be reasonably happy. I think that's. I think they've got a game in front of them. Obviously, have to bowl quite well, but I think they possibly got enough. Possibly got enough. The only thing in their favour, or another thing in their favour, is that there's a lot of these Yorkshire players who have batted down here ever in this situation, this competition. So it'll be a new experience for a number of these Birmingham players.
Indeed. You make the walk off, of course, separate changing rooms. So the Bears players head off into the sort of all turn right as they get to the pavilion steps and head into that corner.
Yeah, I think if it's the same, if it's the same as for the 4-day game here, then Bears will possibly have both changing rooms upstairs. In other words, both the normal changing rooms with the gap between them, the barrier between them taken down, so they can mix a little bit. And Glamorgan, at least for the 4-day game, we're using the bar area, presumably with the taps turned off, my pal. There's they're big enough changing rooms anyway, aren't they? But obviously don't meet the health regs for 11 in each, or 13 or 14, or however many they have. But they're quite decent changing rooms, aren't they, Mike?
Rooms, and for what looks like a short walk, it's actually quite a lot of steps and a long walk to actually get to the crease. So where Glamorgan are, it's a lot shorter and simpler to get out there. So given the choice, I'd rather be in the bar area, but not for the reasons you probably think.
Voice of Mike Powell, former Glamorgan and Kent batsman, with us here on BBC CWR and BBC Sport Online, also via the Glamorgan website. Well, it's easy enough to
That looks like Ian Bell. We did do one of the more eye-catching those videos when every cricketer did sort of first ball of the season, didn't they? During lockdown, and he did one where his son bowled toilet roll at him or something and drove it straight down the ground for 4, and then came down the corridor, patted it, and said, "Don't bowl there, son."
Yeah, sledging his son.
Indeed, which that one went down pretty well. Are we going to go straight for spin here for Glamorgan? Is that Sophia?
Yeah, Prem Sisodia, the youngster from Cardiff, 22 years old, played a couple of games last season, but has did really well in Bristol yesterday, bowling 4 overs straight through 1 for 12. So Sisodia from the River Taff end. He is bowling to left-handed Pollock, who has got a fielder out at mid-wicket. Sisodia bowls, and that's through everything, and it hasn't hit anything on the way through, apart from maybe the keeper's pads, I think. Sisodia bowling in a very cool pair of shades. Let's say bit of wind on the effects microphone as this one is a big swing. There's an appeal for LBW and he's out, and Pollock has gone second ball, trying to launch Sisodia over mid-wicket. Made no contact, up went the finger, and the Bears are 0 for 1.
Yeah, the first delivery just beat the outside edge there, the defensive Pollock, and then the next delivery a little bit fuller, a little bit flatter. Pollock's gone for a sweep, but unfortunately for him, just striking him in front of the wicket. Out, LBW.
It has been a fairly effective tactic bowling spinners at Pollock at the top of the innings, and has been there.
So Sisodia striking straight away, and it's been given a lot of responsibility by Matt Maynard and Chris Cook, but it's worked well yesterday, and he started well today.
Yeah, so the conditions sort of suit for the spinners. Top of the innings as well, bowling is quite a nice time to do it. The ball might grip, it might slip on, so there's lots of variance the spinners might happen for them. So do you wait until the field's out and batsmen are set, or do you like to bowl to them first up? I'd rather bowl to a fresh batsman at the start of the innings, given the choice.
So Adam Hose is in at 3 for the visitors in the bright yellow shirts of the Bears. As in comes Sisodia, left arm, bowls, driven down the ground for a single. Which of course they can afford to do, Mike, in these early stages. Just pick off the singles really, because 7 and over isn't demanding.
Yeah. But the other side of that, if you take it too easy, all of a sudden that run rate starts creeping up. Maybe lose the odd wicket here, and then all of a sudden the pressure's back on you.
Ian Bell, who Glamorgan couldn't get out in the last championship match they played.
Still in, isn't he?
Really made them suffer at Edgbaston a couple of years back. And Bell back on his stumps, playing into the point area, fielded by Salter, and there's no run.
Well, it was, where were we? The outground. We played Glamorgan in, was it last season, the season before? Where were we? He scored lots of runs. That was last season, wasn't it? No, can't have been last season, season before.
Dot ball played back to the bowler again.
Bell didn't play last season, of course, due to injury.
I'm struggling to think of that one, actually.
Wasn't it Newport? It was Newport, I think, wasn't it? Where were we?
I thought we played Gloucester in Newport. As
right.
That one is dragged down by Sisodia and just played up to long on for a single by Ian Bell to get off the mark. 2 for 1 at the end of the first over.
Colwyn Bay.
There we are. Got there eventually. Yeah. Colwyn Bay, not very near Newport.
No, but it was. Bell did.
That's about like saying Brighton's near Canterbury.
But I just remembered it was an outground, that was all. But
it's all right, Clive. Only joking.
He scored loads of runs in that match as well. I remember at Colwyn Bay. Yes, that's right. That would have been Warwickshire's season in the second division, their promotion-winning season.
In fairness, it's not the easiest question. A ground where Ian Bell scores lots of runs.
More spin, Andrew Salter.
Interesting. It's interesting also that they've brought Adam Hose out at 3. I wonder if it had been Bell that had been out, whether they would have done that. And the case of having a big hitter in since Pollock, it didn't come off for Pollock. Bell has played that one down to long on for a single. So not had a great time in the Bob-Willis Trophy, Ian Bell. He did miss a whole of last season through injury, and he has found it difficult getting runs on his return. He lost his place in the T20 team when he was captain, which was an awkward one from the Bears' point of view. He's in the side here. Number 21 bowling to number 21. As Hose is a good accurate delivery, and Hose plays that to long on for a single. Glamorgan looking perhaps to put Warwickshire a little bit behind the rate, because when they tried to accelerate Glamorgan, with the exception of Cook, it often didn't come off. Reverse sweep by Bell there. You're only going to get one for it, and he's a bit frustrated. I think he thought he could just beat that fielder as just back of point and run it down to third man, but he couldn't quite get it fine enough. 5 for 1. Salter to bowl, and that one is defended away by Hose coming down the pitch, but can't get it away. It's 5 for 1. Good start from the 2 spinners, Michael.
Pardon?
Good start from the 2 spinners.
Yeah, very good start here.
And Salter bowls. So that one is launched in the air. Not really got hold of it as Hose, but he's got it over the inner field, and he will get 2 runs for it.
You can see Hose trying to do that. Salter's trying to angle that ball into the leg stem, getting the batsman hit the fields that are out on the boundary, so long on and mid wicket. And Hose just give himself a little bit of room to the leg side, trying to force that ball over the offside where all the gaps are.
Comes in now, Salter, and that's launched in the air, and it's going to go over the head of long on for 6. Adam Hose gets hold of that one and hits it for 6. So 5 sixes in the Glamorgan innings. That's the Bears' first. And at the end, that slightly damaged that over from Salter at the end of the over. They did take 11 runs off it in the end. 13 for 1 off 2.
Salter just guilty of flighting the ball a bit too much in his 6th delivery, and Hose, in fairness, got all of that, took it to the boundary. One of the shorter boundaries straight here, but 6 runs nonetheless. Very well played.
So Sophia is going to continue from the River Taff end. Umpire Blackwell tosses him the ball. Just 2 runs and 1 wicket off his first over. Cook, of course, standing up as Sisodia bowls down the wicket. Oh, it's dropped. Maybe Wag got a hand to it at cover. I think it's gone away for 4 runs. So hit pretty hard there by Ian Bell. I think, though, that Wag would have backed himself to do a bit better, just palmed that one over the bar almost.
He almost got a little bit close to it and almost ended up at him in the head, the way he's reacting there. I'm not sure if he did. But yeah, saviour for Bell there was he actually hit it so well. He'd rushed Graham Wag with his catch, but risky, playing with the spin over cover.
Wag is disgruntled in the extreme as he picks himself up. A 37-year-old all-rounder.
Gingerly got off the ground, didn't he?
I think it's his pride hurt as much as anything. 17 for 1, Bell to 7 as Sisodia is in, and that one's hit up towards long off. It's chipped over the top, it'll plug, and they'll come back for 2 runs. 19 for 1.
I'm sure he'll change his field here. Ian Bell gives himself a little bit of room going to the offside. Wherever he moves that man from long on round to long off, I'm not sure, but no, sticking with the same field.
Long on and deep mid-wicket are the 2 fielders out, so Bell trying to hit over the offside has worked so far, as that one's fired in by Sisodia, and Bell drives it back to the bowler. It's not going to be had for a 3rd time. So new challenges all the time for Sisodia in the first-class game, as Bell drives that one to long mid-off, and Scrambling stop. No single to be had.
So Ian Bell's going even more leg side, so just follow him down that leg side. Almost a game within a game here.
Long on is moving a little bit.
Here we go, yes, a change in field.
Long off goes out. There you are, Mike. You should play this game.
Almost know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Mike Powell spotting the field change 2 balls before it's made. Sisodia into Bell, 19 for 1, chasing 1 for 1, played straight to point. Salter fields no run. This is a really fascinating battle between the rookie and the man who's seen it all.
So Sisodia's got to be careful to go lift. Ian Bell stays where he is to be a wide down leg side here. So let's see how he goes this delivery.
4 saving the single in the circle on the offside. That's on leg stump and played to backward square. So 19 for 1, 6 runs off the over, which was one of the best battles of wits I've seen within 6 balls for a while, Mike.
Yeah, it's difficult. We can't race. There's no flags out there today, so I can't see where the wind is coming from. But you can see Ian Bell is trying to force that ball over the infield on the offside, where all the gaps are. So just sort of pushing it further and further down leg side and bowling quicker and quicker. I think you might find he might sweep him next time you face him, getting that leg side. Change of bowling here.
Yeah.
Cathedral Road end.
First, a bit of seam in the innings.
Yeah, Van der Hochten.
Van der Hochten then to bowl to Hose, who was the Bears' top 6 hitter last season with 17. Bears were slightly in debit when it came to sixes last season. They hit 49 and conceded 55. Field changes. Still in the power play, of course, so just 2 men allowed on the boundary. Gone are the days when you had to have a couple of fielders in catching positions. You can put them anywhere within the circle you like now, and 2 boundary fielders at third man and just in front of square leg. Van der Houten comes in to bowl to Hose and beats him outside off stump. A slowish delivery. Adam Hose failing to make contact. Ian Bell comes down the pitch to offer some thoughts. It's one of the shortest batting pairings in terms of letters required for the scoreboard. Bell and Hose. Whereas Van der Houten, bowling, comes in to bowl the Hose, and Hose is a bit early on that one. He's going to get runs for Chudley. In fact, it's going to go to the boundary. Didn't know much about it. Down to fine leg for 4.
Van Houten bowling very wide of the crease there, and angling the ball in. Slightly got it wrong. He went a little bit too leg-sided, and inside edge saved Hose there. Raced away to 4 runs down at fine leg with a man up inside the circle.
Hose on the 14, 23 for 1. The target, remember, for the Bears, 141 in their 20 overs to win and get themselves up and running in the T20. Van der Houten comes to bowl, and that's hit in the air and dropped. No. Another chance put down. That was at back of square leg, and it's Salter who's put it down. It was travelling fast, but again, like a one he would have hoped to have taken.
I'd be bitterly disappointed. They're probably hip high, slightly to his left, and he's got his head in his hands there. And bad mistake. Want them to go to hands. All of a sudden, 2 down with 24 on the board. Looks a lot different than just the 1 down. Got away with that one.
He did. Hose on to 15. And Houten now to Ian Bell, who is the Bears' top scorer in this format of all time. The first to get past 2,000 runs, still the only one to get past 2,000 runs for the Bears in this competition. And he's run that one down to third man for a single, so he's on to 10. 3 groups of 6 this year. It's gone back to the old system. Everyone's playing each other twice. So 10 games in total. Top 2 in each group, plus the 2 best third places out of the 3 groups will go through to the quarterfinals, which this year are all going to be played on the same day. Van Houten comes into bowl to Hose, who defends that, and there's no run. And finals day will be in October, which will be interesting.
Might be cold.
It will be cold. Glamorgan have had 2 finals there, haven't they? Were you involved in that?
Yeah, I was involved in the first one.
Yeah.
Lost to Leicester in the semi-final.
And that was after beating Warwickshire, of course, in the quarterfinals. In comes Van der Gutten to bowl to Hose, who's gone for a big hit there. He's got that one away. That's going to go for 4 onto the leg side. An extravagant swing, and the ball raced across the outfield for 4 runs. His second 4, and that makes that quite a productive over for the Bears. They get 10 runs off it after 4 overs, chasing 141 to win. They're 29 for 1.
With Van der Gutten going wide of the crease, he's almost inviting the batsman to hit on the leg side of his length slightly wrong. A little bit too full there, and Hose, in fairness to him, hitting that to leg side, getting enough on it to go for 4 runs.
Dowthwaite into the attack. Clive mentioned the brevity of the names on the scoreboard, Hose and Bell. In the last match, Tim van der Gutten had the inconsiderate behaviour of being caught by Vasconcelos off Musrabani. You know, say that and the next batsman's in. 29 for 1. Dowthwaite then from the River Taff end, which is interesting. They haven't gone quite as spin heavy as they did yesterday when Callum Taylor was third into the attack after the Van der Gutten over. Dowthwaite, right arm strap, bowls, and that's hit over point by Bell for 4 runs, just dropping a little bit short. 33 for 1, Bell for 14. Haven't got that many to play with, Mike. Can afford a loosener.
No, not short and wide without obviously a deep point, not out there as well. So it's inviting just to go up and over, and it's an easy 4 runs. There's 2 fielders out to the man at deep square leg, and you've got a third man down here as well. So yeah, loose deliveries like that, not ideal.
First wicket went down with no score on the board. These two starting to flourish as Dowthwaite bowls and Bell works with a whip of the wrist through mid-wicket. There'll be a couple of runs here as Billy Root charges round the boundary, but it is a very easy 2 as Root's throw comes in to Chris Cook. 35 for 1 are the visitors in this 5th over. 1-4-1 is the target. So not, you would have thought, a demanding one unless Glamorgan start taking their catches. 2 shelled. Dowthwaite in, bowls, and Bell forced to just play that one defensively on the onside. No run. The Salter drop, I mean, he's usually one of the most reliable Glamorgan pairs of hands in the field.
Yeah, it wasn't a difficult hatch for a man who feels there a lot. I mean, he'd be disappointed, but we all shell them, Nick.
Absolutely. Not in a position to throw stones. Dowthwaite bowls, and that one's gone down leg side. I'm not sure if that was inside edge or pad, but it was stopped by Sisojit short fine leg, so we'll never know.
Yeah, I think Dowthwaite just rolled his fingers on that for a slow ball. There wasn't any pace in it, and they may have got a little bit of pad on there as well, so yeah, just dribbled to the man, went back round the corner at 45.
Dowthwaite with yellow strapping all down his bowling arm. As he pounds in towards us and bowls to Bell, who works on the leg side just quietly down to square leg for a single. 36 for 1, 5th over. 1-4-1 is the target.
See that sort of tubing quite a lot these days, don't you? Jitan Patel went a season where he wore it pretty much the whole season. Well, I think I've seen Tim Bresnan wear it also this year. The more senior bowlers tend to wear them.
At least it's in line with the daffodil gold of the shirt trim. 36 for 1. Hose on 19. Faces up to Dowthwaite, who's in balls, and that's flayed through the offside for 4. Beautiful shots. Smashed away. 40 for 1 after 5. That was really nicely timed, wasn't it?
Beautiful shot, wasn't it? Just a couple of steps down the wicket, and he was inviting wide enough to throw his arms at it, and you got all of it before you know he hit the boundary rope. Beautiful shot from Hose there. Moves him on to 23. Ian Bell on 17. Warwickshire 40 for 1.
Yeah, it's been a decent start. I've already had 3 double-figure overs, which matches Glamorgan. Although Glamorgan did have a particularly lucrative over. They took 16 off Jitan Patel. Hose looking good at the moment. Van der Gutten is to continue his 2nd over. And the last over of the power play. And he comes in to bowl to Bell, who's launched that in the air, and it's going to bounce just short of mid-on And either Glamorgan aren't holding them or they're not quite going to hand for them. It must be very frustrating because that was a false shot which could easily have ballooned into the fielder's hands.
There's a big vacant area there over the sort of a straightish mid-wicket, and like Bell just trying to chip it over the top of him, but not middling it, and almost went straight to hand of that catcher mid-wicket.
Subfielder is Owen Morgan, wearing 29.
18 to Bell now with that single. And into Adam Hose, who drives that and has got it past the inner field. That's going to be another 4, and Adam Hose is beginning to get into his stride here. He's on to 27 with that, and that's his 4th 4. And he's also hit a 6. 45 for 1.
Yeah, very full, very wide, without the deep point as well. Enough room to throw his arms at. Beautiful shot. Brings a change of field there. He's bringing his third man back up inside the inner circle and pushing his deep point back, just to cover himself for that full drive.
Yeah. He sits hard in front of himself on the offside, Hose. Van der Gutten into bowl to him, and he just defends that one out to the offside for no run. The sun reappearing. It's got a little bit more cloudy as the day has gone on. Nothing threatening. It's been a pretty pleasant afternoon. The tree is very still. Picturesque scene around the ground, a ground that's changed an awful lot over the years, as pretty much all of them have. Van der Gutten, number 64 in his back, into bowl. It's just on leg stump, and Hose trying to turn it into the leg side. Doesn't make contact, and the ball rolls away into the offside. And it's a good riposte from Van der Gutten so far. Having been hit for 4, next 2 have kept the batter quiet. Bears and turns, plenty of encouragement from his teammates. Nothing from the crowd, of course, as there isn't one. Right arm over, bowls, it's hit straight down the ground, but it will be Gulliver's half stopped. And we'll keep him down to 1. A decent piece of fielding in the end there by, that's Owen Morgan. He got enough on it to prevent the ball rolling away, even though it went behind him. So 1 run, 46 for 1.
You're right, Van der Gutten, he's just dragged this back quite nice, isn't he, from his first delivery. Just the 1 single comes from the next 4 deliveries. He's done very, very well.
And now we'll bowl to Ian Bell. He's not entirely convincing 18. He pushes that one, looking maybe for a quick single. There isn't one to be had. So in the end, in terms of runs scored, it's all square after the power play. Glamorgan at the end of their 6-over power play were 46. They were 46 for 3. The Bears also on 46, but they are 46 for 1.
How much of an advantage is that then, Mike, to have those extra wickets in the shed?
Yeah, it is. All depends who those extra wickets are, I suppose. But yeah, they'd be happy to know you've got a little bit more in reserve. You can go a little bit harder than you might do if you'd have lost 2 or 3 more wickets on top of that. But you do different styles out there at the moment, which is working quite nicely. Obviously, the Bell, one of the best touch players around still. And then Hose, who's been a little bit more aggressive and played some beautiful drives so far. So just easing themselves in nicely into this game here. Warwickshire look in control at the moment.
46 for 1 over number 7. Glamorgan in need of a couple of wickets. Will big Marchant de Lange be the man to supply them with his pace? That's clipped away down towards backwards square by Hose. Single taken. De Lange is high risk, high reward, I suppose, Mike, bowling at that pace in T20.
Yeah, we've seen him in the past, and when things don't go quite well for him, he sort of tries to bowl even quicker and even shorter. But if he starts well, he's a very, very dangerous bowler.
Still with that left hand heavily strapped, as it has been pretty much all season. That's driven nicely by Bell out through the covers. They'll pick up 1, they'll look for 2, and despite some decent fielding on the boundary, they do come back for the 2nd run. As Yorkshire, Birmingham Bears. Sorry, old habits die
I
hard.
wouldn't worry too much.
47 for one, 49 for one.
I predict that next year you'll be all right.
Yes, with the other Birmingham outfit for which Chris Cook was due to be playing. That's a short ball from De Lange that Bell plays down. Did well to get on top of and not balloon a catch up to Gully there.
Tried to give himself a little bit of room on that short delivery, Bell, trying to flick it down to third man, but he ended up getting a little bit straight to him and almost grilled him in the end.
That was a fast delivery indeed. De Lange in again, bowls. That's more pitched up, and Bell plays it well through mid-wicket. Again, they'll look for two. The throw comes in. Holes will have to hurry. He does hurry and is home by the time the throw reaches Marchant De Lange. That is the 50 up for the Bears. They're 51 for 1 in this 7th over, so going along nicely and on course at the moment. 1 for 1 the target. So De Lange to Bell, 22 not out at a half-century stand as well, of course, and Bell just flicks it off his hip down to Sisodia at fine leg, single taken. 52 for 1. So Bears restricting Glamorgan to 140 for 9. Chris Cook 72, Tim Bresnan 3 for 33. Ollie Stone 2 for 26, wicket apiece for the others, Brooks Patel and Lintott particularly economical on debut, 1 for 13. De Lange is in to bowl a short delivery that Hose just gets out of the way of. 52 for 1, 6 off that Marchant De Lange over.
Yeah, nice start for De Lange there, probably 2 deliveries going borderline shoulder height going through, but it's a dangerous ball for him. You see that last delivery from him, it's angled back in off the seam and going close to the batsman, so it's a dangerous ball for him to bowl. We've had a little bit of a drinks break out there at the moment with the
sanitizer as well.
Yeah, sanitizer.
Actually, you haven't noticed the sanitizer breaks in this match because there were regular fall of wickets, I suppose, in the Glamorgan innings.
It is. Sorry.
No, carry on, please.
I'm going to say it is a 50 partnership between these two now. It's rather easy to calculate the partnership because Pollock was out before a run was on the board, so they put on 52.
But I feel Warwickshire in control. Not that Ian Bell ever looks flustered at the crease, but they just seem to be picking off what is available. There's nothing really been forced by the Warwickshire team so far. They must feel that we're comfortable in operating how they're within themselves to end up with 141 that they're chasing down.
50 came up in 40 balls, which is 1 ball quicker than Glamorgan's 50. But again, they did only lose 1 wicket as opposed to 3. We're back to spin though. Salter is back on. And bowling to Ian Bell. Bell takes a little shuffle down the pitch and works it away onto the leg side for a single. Bell onto 24. Which I think is his highest score on all formats so far. Well, I say all formats, both formats so far this season. 53 for 1. Scoreboard a bit slow to acknowledge that run. There it is now. Salter into Hose. Works it onto the offside, and again a single, obviously out of the power play. More fielders on the boundary, just 4 have to be inside the fielding restriction circle. And so the Bears may be happy to operate in singles for a while. Salter to Bell, a little shuffle down the pitch again, plays it to long on, calls Adam Hose through quickly, but the fielder is quickly onto the ball. There is Callum Taylor, and so they only have time for the single. 55 for 1. Sun disappears behind a cloud now. No requirement for the floodlights to be on. Salter. Right arm spin, that's it in the air. There is a man out there, Taylor, and he's in the end fields it on the half volley, and it's going to be a couple of runs. He did quite well to stop it in the end, Taylor. He was trying to go for the catch, which wasn't really there. It might have been better just to have hung back and fielded it on the bounce. As it is, he made sure that he got his body behind the ball and knocked it away, and it was 2 runs.
Very brave effort there.
Very
really.
brave effort. He was fully committed, wasn't he? And just the last minute he pulled out and just had to palm the ball down for the...
Saved a couple of runs. That one is hit straight down the ground again. There's a man here, but all he'll do is fetch the ball out because that's hit for a 6. Through long off for Adam Hose's second 6. And he moves on to 38, 63 for 1.
Just give himself a little bit of room to the leg side, the ball over, long off. Not getting all of it either, which will be a bit of confidence for the batsman, knowing I can actually find 6 without hitting it absolutely at the meat of the bat.
Salter into Hose again. He's hit that one, and that one is in the air briefly, bounces short of cover, and it's the end of the over, from which they took 11 runs, 63 for 1 after 8.
Yep, nice over for Warwickshire there. Plan not going to what they wanted to, bring in Salter back on, who actually wasn't a great campaign for Glamorgan last season, but anyone who came out of it well was probably Salter. He bowled very well last year.
Yeah, 14 wickets in the campaign, which doesn't sound a lot, but Glamorgan effectively played 10 matches and lost 8 of them, unfortunately. 4 rained out, 63 for 1. They've at least matched last year's tally of victories on the first weekend, as De Lange will continue from the River Taff end into bowl to Bell, who pulls down to square leg for a single. Getting on top of that one well, and I suppose for a play of Bell's experience, he can almost knock it round at the moment and wait for the odd bad ball.
Since both these teams got to final stage in 2017, neither has qualified beyond the group stage in the 2 years since.
Yeah, it was pretty poor last year for Glamorgan in this comp, as De Lange bowls and bowls him as Hose tries to work on the leg side and sees his leg stump leaning back. Marchant De Lange breaks this partnership of 64 for the visitors, as the ball rattled into Midland leg just a little bit too quick to play that sort of shot.
Yeah, House got on nicely. They ended up with 38, but just trying to work that one to the leg side. Very full, very quick from De Lange, and the wicket they've been searching for, that they needed.
We're in the 9th over, and I feel that Glamorgan need to keep taking wickets if they're to stand a chance of fighting way back into this game. But Hose with a nice knock there, as they're into the break up in Old Trafford. Pakistan run up 195 for 4 in their 20 overs. Baba Azam 56 off 44, but the main man responsible, Mohammed Hafiz, 69 off 36 balls, 4 sixes. Adil Rashid 2 for 32, Glamorgan's England's most successful bowler there. Some of the others got a bit of tap. Most of the others got a bit of tap. 64 for 2. De Lange will be bowling to the new batsman Sam Hain.
Top scorer for the Bears in the competition last season. Struggled a bit for form with the red ball this season so far, but his last innings was a decent half-century, but up to then he was struggling.
There's a slip in now for Marchant De Lange to bowl. Knows that Glamorgan have to attack. First delivery to Hain is played out on the offside, and there's no run. There'll be an update for BBC radio listeners, fingers crossed, in Wales, as opposed to BBC radio listeners in Coventry and Warwickshire, who are with us already. 64 for 2. De Lange looking for further breakthroughs, as he's in to bowl down leg side. That'll be called wide. It's spilt by Chris Cook, and both bowler and keeper look rather dissatisfied with that particular delivery, as De Lange trying to induce Hain to hook with square leg back on the fence and fine leg back towards the boundary as well. 65 for 2 as De Lange runs towards us. Bowls, that's again down leg side, and although it's just past the stumps, it is called wide, as it has to be. 66 for 2.
Seems a bit tough on the bowler, that, doesn't it?
Yeah. Them's the rules. Balbirnie as the man in at slip. Stelanger is into bowl, 1 run. And Birmingham Bears are on top at the moment. They're 67 for 2 in the 9th over, chasing 141 to beat Glamorgan. Chris Cook's 72 is the only man with any sort of score for Glamorgan carried their innings. Glamorgan with a wicket apiece for Sisodia and Delanger, who's just bowled Hose for 30-80, and Bell's not out 26. At Old Trafford, Pakistan totalled 195 for 4 against England in their T20. Here Birmingham are 67 for 2. As there's another wide. That'll be 68 for 2. Delanger with his radar off in this over. 3 wides down leg side. That's a bit of encouragement from Van der Hoogte at mid-off. As in comes Delanger again to bowl to Bell, who gets a short ball, plays that well down to third man for a single. So, if it hadn't been for the wides, that might have been quite a decent over. As it was, there were 6 or 7 off it.
Over, yeah.
Sorry, I thought they were changing over. It's an indeterminable over. Yes. Bit of movement in the field. Conby with the time this one has taken. Here is Delanger into Hayne, and there's an appeal. I thought that sounded like a bit of bat in there. Delanger asked the question. That is the end of the over, and well, a very odd sort of over really. A wicket and 3 wides, but Glamorgan I suppose will settle for it. 6 off it for the wicket. 69 for 2, needing 1 for 1 to win, and we have had 9 overs gone.
Yeah, Glamorgan desperate for that wicket there, and Delanger delivering for his team just to get himself back into this game. Put up a bit of a fight. Salter still carrying on from the Cathedral Road end with his off spin.
Yeah, so there's still plenty of work to do. Salter to Ian Bell. Right arm spin, Bell plays that to long on for a single. Sam Hayne, really impressive with the white ball in recent seasons, and I think he might well have ended up playing for England in the ODIs perhaps this season if it wasn't for the fact he just couldn't find form at the start of the season, and he didn't do very well in the practice games, so missed out. And now face Salt having a good look around the field. Sam Hayne, 2 men on either side inside the circle, 2 behind him, 2 in front of him, and he's played that one straight back to the bowler. Hint of a leading edge. It remains 70 for 2. Next one is played just again back to the bowler, bounce just in front of him. At the moment, Salter keeping Hayne in check. And he comes again to bowl. Hayne makes room, carves that away to the sweeper on the offside. Get himself a single, move on to 2. 71 for 2. Players are going to be ahead of where Glamorgan were at the halfway stage, but possibly not much. And of course they are halfway to their target. That's hit in the air. Now there's a man out there. This should be out, and it is. And Bell can't believe what he's done. He's pulled that straight to the fielder on the onside. The catch taken, and Ian Bell goes for 28. So 2 new men at the crease. Glamorgan fighting back here.
Yeah, you can see what Ian Bell was trying to do there, give himself a little bit of room and try and aim the ball for that man sort of at cow corner and a deep square. There's a big gap in between there, but all he succeeded in was picking out that man in the deep for a comfortable catch.
Yeah, belly roots head high. Clung on to it with no problems.
So 71 for 3, 2 wickets for 7 runs, and so the Bears are halfway to their target, stalling a little bit of late.
Ball isn't coming onto the bat, is it? Players having to work for it, and
yeah, you're right. It's a lot harder facing the spinners on this wicket, and it's proven again. But another good thing for Glamorgan at this stage is just to bring in where the game is in a little bit of a balance. Warwickshire are still on top, but with 2 fresh batsmen in there, it's a good time to get the spinners on, get through a number of overs really, really quickly and stick Warwickshire on the back foot.
Well, Will Rhodes is the new man at the crease. Batters didn't cross because he was too annoyed with himself with a shot and just stood there leaning on his bat aghast. So Rhodes will be on strike. And this over so far yielding just 2 runs and a wicket. Salter round the wicket to the left-handed Rhodes, who pushes it onto the leg side. He'll get 1 there. They think about a second. If we're in the final over, they need a 7 to win. I reckon they would have gone for it, but they just take the single. 72 for 3 at the end of a very good over from Andrew Salter. Halfway stage, the Bears are 6 runs ahead of where Glamorgan were, having lost 1 less wicket, so it's pretty tight.
Yeah, Bears just about favourites still, Mike.
Yeah, just about favourite. We know in this game that within a couple of overs the game can swing completely the other way, so I think Glamorgan will be happy with the 2 wickets they've picked up recently, which puts them right back in the game. Brings a change of bowling from the River Taff end. Douthwaite comes back on with his right arm seam. Looks like he's bowling round the wicket here to the left-handed Rhodes.
Will Rhodes, I think, joined us on commentary. I seem to remember last time we had a championship match between the 2 sides.
Yes, he used to quite enjoy doing that. And now that he's captain, we probably won't see him so much. But yeah,
always to be encouraged.
Because he, I'll let you describe this.
Douthwaite to the left-handed Rhodes, then 2 new batsmen at the wicket, as that's played comfortably away for a single 2 mid-wicket, 73 for 3.
He spent quite a lot of time with Warwickshire when he wasn't able to play, because after signing from Yorkshire, rather churlishly in my view, refused to allow him to play, certainly in the Championship, and so he had a bit of time to kill, I guess.
Douthwaite, who don't think has managed to visit the barbers since lockdown, because he's still got the band in his hair, and he'll be bowling the right-handed Hayne now. 73 for 3, add at least a single, possibly 2. They've run the first one very hard. They'll come back for the second run. The throw from De Lange just, I think, slipped as he put that throw in. Marchant De Lange. It wasn't one of his usual arrow-like rockets, and they've picked up 2. 75 for 3 in the 11th. 141 is the target for the Bears to chase down. They finished 8th in their group last season, and Glamorgan in 9th. Both sides looking to improve on that, as Douthwaite bowls a slightly slower ball. Hayne plays rather across the line, but safely enough out to mid-wicket for the single. Salter's throw. 76 for 3.
Yeah, the Bears actually started pretty well last season. I mean, the year before they were awful. They started pretty well last year. We thought, well, this is going to be better, but couldn't quite maintain it.
Yeah, Glamorgan, well, won their last game, tied with Gloucestershire somewhere along the way, and that was about it. Beat Hampshire as their only scalps here in the final game of the season in that format. Douthwaite, right arm around the wickets to the left-hander. Slow ball, which is turned away by Rhodes on the leg side for the single. Can afford to have a look at it for a few balls, can Will Rhodes, with not too much pressure on the run rate, unless Glamorgan bowl a couple of really tight overs. But you got the feeling that 1:15 over would take things very much in the Bears' fashion. Douthwaite needs wickets in, bowls. Hit off the back foot through the offside, just the single. Sam Hayne ticking along, 78 for 3. Has almost got the sort of stage where Glamorgan don't mind singles too much, and Warwickshire are quite happy to deal in them. The yellow shirts of the Bears against the dark navy of Glamorgan, as Douthwaite goes back to round the wicket for the left-handed Rhodes, and bowls a slower delivery. Oh, Chris Cook's missed it, and they'll take a bye. Well, that was such a deceptive delivery, and not only deceived the batsman, but deceived the keeper 20 yards back, and I guess he was relieved not to see the ball clanging against the helmet there for a 5-run penalty.
About to say that.
79 for 3 at the end of Douthwaite's over. We're through 11 here on BBC Sport Online.
I think that did happen to the Bears a couple of years ago, and they lost by about 3 runs.
Oh.
So it was significant in the end. So that was, in the end, a reasonably productive over for the Bears without too much effort and a bit of good fortune at the end.
It's almost standoff at the moment, isn't it, in this game, isn't it? No one really wants to go for that knockout blow either way. And as you said, people are quite happy. Glamorgan quite happy with the singles, so Warwickshire. So I think that'll change over the next couple of overs.
Salter round the wicket to bowl to Rhodes, who hits a flattish delivery onto the leg side. They'll just take one. 80-for-3. Target, remember, 141 to win off the 20 overs. Samhain surveys the field and goes back to the square leg boundary. 2 inside the circle, 2 on either side, 2 on the offside, 2 on the onside, 2 behind the batter. And he comes down the pitch, turns that into a low full toss, plays it to long on for a single. Hay moves on to 7. And 81 for 1. Two men out in the deep on the leg side for Rhodes as Salter comes in to bowl to him, and he swings and misses. They're appealing for a stomping, but his back foot just about stayed back.
You just get that feeling that possibly a wicket going Glamorgan's way will put them in front, and even as little as 1 big 6 will put Warwickshire slightly in front of Glamorgan. I think it's that finely balanced at the moment.
Just 2 runs off this over so far, so this over is very much in the balance. Salter can keep them down to no more than singles for the rest of the over. It's been a decent effort. Round the wicket he comes to bowl, and Rhodes pushes it onto the leg side. Salter himself goes herring off to field. They think about a second, but wisely decide against it, as in the end Salter was beaten to it by Taylor.
Yeah, there's a few lively fielders in this Glamorgan side with Carlson, Taylor, Salter, Root. Plenty of bounce in the field.
Salter again, this time right arm over the right hand. Oh, he's come down the pitch. It was well, it'd be harsh to call that a chance, but it was hit hard, and he did get a hand to it, the bowler, and deflected away. In the end, you could say probably saved 4 runs. But if it had stuck, it would have been out. 82 for 3. Hayne will feel that he didn't get much reward for hitting that pretty hard down the ground. Salter in, and he's hit that one uppishly but safe. It should be stopped, it is, and they'll only get 1 run for it. And it is the end of a good tidy over, just 4 runs off it. And it's 83 for 3, so 8 overs to go. And 58 runs needed, if my mathematics hasn't let me down.
Well, Morgan's still on the field up there on the long on boundary, so someone's been off a while. You can see the fast bowlers.
I tell you, has Wag gone off from hurting his hip? That Ian Bell effort early on in the innings. I think he landed quite awkwardly on the practice square next to him. Must he bruised a hip or something?
Yeah, trying to take a very hard hit catch as Douthwaite bounds in and bowls, and that's driven up to long on by Hayne. Single taken, that's all. Yes, we doubtless have seen Wag bowling by now if he were on the field.
Or heard him.
Indeed, or heard him, yeah. Perhaps the volume level going down should have given us a clue. So Glamorgan without one of their more interesting bowling options. So just used the 5 so far. Got Callum Taylor as another spinner, possibly. Salter's bowled out now as Douthwaite bowls, and that's sliced over backward point by Rhodes, gets away with it, trisects the 3 fielders in that area of the ground, and they come back for 2. 86 for 3, chasing 141.
Yeah, Kieran Carlson's another option as well. They've got a number of options out there to fill their bowling requirements.
Not sure what Carlson's bowling these days, because he bowled an over of trundling medium pace in the 4-day stuff the other day. As Douthwaite is in, bowls, and getting in outside the line is Rhodes. They'll go through for a single. There's a shy at the stumps. If that had hit from Balbirnie, might have been struggling. Mass confusion. Very odd shot from Rhodes.
Yeah, I think it just shows a little bit of desperation out there. It's very difficult to score runs at the moment. That first 2 he had, the previous delivery, is the first 2 we've had in a long time. They've just been operating in singles at the moment, Warwickshire. A bit of a reflection of how well Glamorgan are bowling, possibly.
In the 13th over, only 54 irons required to win, and 7 to come after this, so Bears still on top, as that's a low full toss. Oh, it's driven almost to Van der Hoogten at mid-off. That pitched about, I think, a metre short of him, but he didn't have time to run in. It was hit so hard.
I think he possibly thought that was going to come all the way to him for a catch. It just dropped short.
Not much.
Another dot ball.
Not much you could do about it. Wasn't in any way a chance, that one. Douthwaite in bowls, and Hayne giving them the charge. It's clipped back to the bowler. That one was on the half volley, I think. Didn't take it anyway. Would have provoked a few cheers on a Friday night had he done so. He was not paying too close attention. 87 for 3. So Glamorgan just starting to build a little bit of pressure. Still the odds with the visitors. 54. 7 overs to come after this. Douthwaite in. Bolter Hayne, who gives them the charge and gets half a bat on it. It's down to backward point. They scampered through for a single. Good calling from running from Will Rhodes, the skipper. 88 for 3 after 13 overs are the Bears. The equation then is 53 off 7. 7.5 runs per over. It's almost what we started with. Just fractionally behind the run rate, but nothing to worry about.
Yeah, be looking to put the foot down on the accelerator here, Warwickshire. I'm sure Rhodes, he's 7, I think 9 deliveries is taken to get to his 7, and Hayne is, I think it's 10 from his 16 deliveries. So, not express. So looking to kick on.
Yeah, Sisodia back in. Just 25 runs off the last 5 overs. Wicket comes to Sisodia, change of ends for him. It's a good stop in the covers, and Hayne wanted to run. Rhodes didn't react. Probably would have got it if Rhodes had reacted. It was a very good stop in the covers.
Kieran Carlson.
Crowd fielding in this match has been good, and we could have a tight finish here. One big over you'd feel would get the Bears pretty close there, but the moment they're getting tied down, that's turned into a low full toss as Hayne comes down the pitch, but again it'll only be 1. You sense they're getting frustrated out there, the batters, and something could happen. Morgan just putting a little bit of pressure on. Chatter just sorting out the field, so there's one man inside the circle at fine leg, the rest on the leg side on the leg side or on the boundary. There's Zodiac round the wicket, he's launched out high in the air, there's fielders out there, but he's cleared the lot. That's a 6 from Will Rhodes. That will take a bit of the pressure off. Really good shot that. 3 fielders out there on the leg side boundary. He's dissected 2 of them and cleared the ropes.
A little bit of breathing space there for Warwickshire with that 6.
1 for 8 from his first 2 overs, Sisodia, but that he's in anger there. He's pitched that one short and he's gone for the big swing. Rhodes and missed it, and just about keeps his balance as the wicketkeeper threatens to stump him. And 95 for 3. Chris Cook captaining from behind the stumps. There's going to be an update on BBC Wales shortly.
Shouldn't be.
Oh, shouldn't there? Okay.
It's a misfire from somewhere.
So, fielder's gone in to mid-wicket on the onside, away from point. In comes Sophia, and that's just on the leg side, and Rhodes tries to hoik it onto the leg side and misses, and that must have missed. Well, it must have gone over the leg stump because it's not signalled wide, and it can't have missed it by very much.
That's a wide in my book. Isn't there any pad on that coming round the wicket, and it ball ended up down leg side.
The next one, he comes down the pitch, he slapped that onto the onside. It will be stopped. They'll get 2. Hayne has to sprint for the second, but Rhodes gets 2. And it takes the score to 97 for 3 at the end of the over. Well, it was a decent enough over, but that 6 just made a big difference for the Bears. He ended up taking 9 off it. 97 for 3, 6 overs to go, 44 still required.
Yeah.
7 wickets left.
Agree there. Clive, a good over for Warwickshire, but it wasn't easy to come by, was it? It doesn't look easy out there at the moment, and just feel Glamorgan to put a little bit of a squeeze on Warwickshire. Duckworth Lewis is saying they should 92 at the end of this over, with on 97, so things are just closing up very nicely.
Yeah, they've been ahead of Duckworth Lewis most of the way. Not that, of course, it will be applied with no sign of rain around, thankfully, for a change. But
it's a good indicator, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always good to keep an eye on. As Douthwaite to bowl to Hayne on 11 not out, takes a single up to long on, 98 for 3. Not exactly a game of big scoring. Chris Cook 72 for virtually a lone hand for Glamorgan, scored more than half the team's runs. Dan Douthwaite with 15 was the only other player into double figures, which, considering everyone batted, is quite remarkable, really. Warwickshire with 38 from Hose, 28 from Bell, 12 not out to Hayne, 15 not out to left-handed skipper Will Rhodes, who's on strike, and Douthwaite into bowl, slow ball outside off stump, hit to point, but there's a single to Balbirnie on the edge of the circle, who skids as he went to field it, next to umpire Jeff Evans, who in his last season on the first class list is not going to bother with such trifles as trotting 60 metres in between each ball for right and left handers. 99 for 3, 42 to win for the Bears. 5 overs after this. Douthwaite in, bowls, and down the wicket came Hayne. Mistimed it slightly on the onside, single taken out to deep mid-wicket. 100 up.
In 87 balls, I make it, which is just 6 balls quicker than Glamorgan. Glamorgan had lost 6 wickets by then. Bears have lost 3. Second 50 coming in 47. First came in 40.
So it just gives you the indication that the visitors do have those extra men in the shed should they need to play big shots in the final couple of overs. Douthwaite in, and Rhodes is bowled, running across his stumps, trying to flick over fine leg, but that wasn't really needed from the skipper, you feel, at this juncture. He's gone for 16, 100 for 4.
Yeah, I think it's just a reflection of the pressure Glamorgan have put them under and how tightly they've bowled. One thing I will notice that Glamorgan have bowled a lot more variation with their seamers, where I think the Warwickshire seamers were a little bit samey, a little bit back of the length, and made life a little easier for Cook when he was batting, where Glamorgan seemed to be mixing it up a little bit more, and it looks a lot harder to pick up runs doing that.
Who's giving Douthwaite all the stumps to aim at there?
They look great, those shots, when they come off, but they don't look horrible when they're out.
He basically moved too much. I think if he stood still and tried to play the same shot, I think he would have got away with it. But as you say, he moved too far over to the offside and exposed all his stumps, and the ball aimed at leg stump, his bat's got a long way to travel to get anywhere near it.
Yeah, have a bowl at those. Rhodes has gone for 16 and is replaced by
Michael Burgess.
Michael Burgess.
Who is a naturally attacking batter.
Who I've got down as number 5, so either I made a mistake or he's changed his number. Probably.
He's down 61 in the sheet, yeah.
There we are. Yeah. As Douthwaite into Burgess, who gets a wideish ball outside off stump that he squirts away well and will get 4 runs possibly. Yes, it is 4 runs. A tumbling stop by Morgan, attempted stop by Morgan, running round at third man but didn't manage to get his body behind it. And Burgess is off the mark, first ball.
Perfectly pierced to the backward point and third man there for 4 runs. What a nice start to your innings.
Absolutely. 104 for 4. 37 needed to win. Still in the 15th over. Burgess is listed as number 5 in Playfair, so it wasn't entirely my mistake, although he's 61 on the card. As Douthwaite bowls, slow ball on leg stump, clipped nicely down towards backward square. They could come back for a second. They don't on this occasion. That was odd, but there we are. They're happy with what they've got. Balbirnie there with the throw, 105 for 4, and just 36 needed off 5 by the visitors. 8 off.
I don't think Warwickshire in a position to turn down those toes. I think whatever you can pick up, you pick up.
Scored 33 for 1 in the 5 overs between 11 and 15. It was 32 for 2 the previous 5, so they've been going along about the same rate since the power play. Sisodia will continue to be his final over, and the Bears will feel they should win it from here, but they'll know they've still got plenty to do. 36 required off 5, 6 wickets left. Not too many 4s in this match, Michael. I'll get a few on that in a minute. Sisodia comes into bowl. It's played a long on for a single. I mean, we've seen a few 6s, but I mean, Glamorgan hit 5 6s, but only 8 4s. And the Bears so far have hit 7 4s and 3 6s.
Yeah, it's got a heavy, lush outfield, this. With the weather we had recently down here in the last week or so. So balls tend to plug rather than skip on for the boundary.
Sisodia around the wicket. He comes down the pitch. That's in the air, but it won't carry to the field. Who feels it on the bounce? Does Callum Taylor, and it's another single. Singles are okay for the Bears if they can punctuate it with the occasional boundary. That would do. Sisodia around the wicket to Burgess. It's a wideish delivery, and Burgess has slapped it straight down the ground. Hasn't quite got it straight enough to beat long off. And again, decent ground fielding, clean stop and throw from Andrew Salter. And it's 1 more onto the total, 108 for 4. 33 more required to win. Skip from Sisodia, bowls just on the leg stump. It's worked there onto the leg side for a single by Hayne, who's on to 15. Hayne progressing in spectacular but steady fashion. 109 for 4. Plenty of talk in the field from Glamorgan, and this one is a little tip and run. They will have to be quick, but that's well judged. It's actually a direct hit, which shows how well judged the run was. Hayne, who called it, is safely in. 110 for 4. So we're dealing in singles for the first 5 balls of this over. Make the last ball a dot ball, it wouldn't be a bad over from the bowler's point of view. Just push the required rate up slightly. 25 balls to go, 31 still required, and that's going to be 1 more of them ticked off. It's hit to long on for a single by Hayne, who's on to 16. 111 for 4. Sisodia had a great first game of the season. He's done pretty well again this game, Michael Powell. He looks good.
Yeah, he looks very well organised, isn't he? I think he understands his game very well, and he's bowling really good paces and varies it quite nice for such a young and inexperienced cricketer. He does look the part. Warwickshire, I feel they need an over. I think they need just to break the shell. They need a boundary. It doesn't seem to be coming at the moment, but the spinners are out of the way, and it's left for the seamers to do. And as we've seen so far, it's easy to score. It's been easier to score runs off the seamers on this wicket. So Let's see how we go the next 4 overs.
111 for 4. 30 off 4 is the equation then here on BBC Sport Online, BBC CWR, and on the Glamorgan website. Tim van der Hoogten from the River Taff End. Both these teams back in action on Tuesday, as Van der Hoogten is in, bowls, and just altered his line at the last moment there, and Hayne missed it as it was angled in towards leg stump.
Yeah, he bowled very wide of the crease, angling, almost like it seamed and come back over off stump there. Beautiful delivery, great start. I think that's where the game is now. It's just one good over from each team could be the difference of winning this.
30 off 24 deliveries, 6 wickets in hand, 23 deliveries now. Van der Hoogten bowls, and Hayne gives him the charge, hits it up towards long on. He'll take one, and thought there was a second there, Mike.
There was definitely a second there. So the last 3 overs they've missed two singles that could be the difference. You've got to be desperate to stop every run when you're in the field, desperate to pick up. If you can pick up a 3, pick up 3. Desperate to pick up 2s. And I just don't feel that's a whiff of desperation at Warwickshire at the moment. But it's their first game.
Just a few jitters around maybe, but the Bears should be on top as Van der Hoogten comes wide, and that's played down by Burgess to short third man for a single.
It's actually unusual for Sam Hayes. He's normally quite a dasher between the wickets. It might just reflect a slight anxiety from him at the moment, having had a difficult start to the season.
Yes, it's difficult to know how much players carry over from one format to another, isn't it?
But even with a white ball playing England practice games, he struggled early season. Probably cost him his place, as I say, in the England squad.
113 for 4. Van der Hoogten to Hayne, who plays it out into the covers. Just the single. Root does the fielding out there. If you are just joining us, Glamorgan 140 for 9 in their 20 overs. Chris Cook 72, Tim Bresnan 3 for 33, and Jake Lintott 1 for 13. One took the wickets, the other squeezed the runs, both on Bears one-day debuts. In reply, Adam Hose 38 is the top scorer so far. The wickets shared around as Van der Hoogten bowls, and Burgess plays it for the offside, and it's a slight misfield by Douthwaite, who fancied his chances of having a shy there, I think, if he'd collected cleanly, but they're through for the single.
Yeah, I think even if he collected that ball, he's aiming at the one stump, so it would have been a very good run out if he actually collected it. But good running from Warwickshire, pick up another single.
115 for 4, 26 to win. We're in the 17th over here at Sophia Gardens as Van der Hoogten bowls, hit down to long on again for the single, and there's a slight misfield. They could come back for 2, they decide not to, as the fielder down there in the distance recovered well to keep them down. So
for me there, I think Warwickshire missed out on 2 runs.
Yeah.
So they should have come back for the second, and there's a misfield at long on, but if you're running really hard and desperate to come back, they would quite comfortably come back for another thing. So for me, it's 2 runs gone awry there.
So just 5 off that over. Just pressure creeping up on the Bears. 25 required. 3 overs to get them in. 25 of 18 balls. So we have now got up to 8 and over, and that would only tie.
Long conversation here with Captain Cook and Van der Hoogten, who's come on to bowl at the Cathedral Road end.
Morgan prospered reasonably well in the last 5 overs. They got 43, and they got 27 off the last 3.
But they had a man in, didn't they, who was on 50, 60, whatever Cook was on at the time, hitting the ball very well. Warwickshire don't seem to have the same player in that sort of form at the moment at the crease.
So this could be a defining over.
Yeah, I agree. I think if Warwickshire are going to bring this home and they're going to win the game, they're going to have to do it ugly. And that, I mean ugly, I mean picking up the 2s and 3s and scrapping what they can get rather than smother it in glory and boundaries. I just don't think it's going to happen for them that way.
Delanger then comes into bowl. to Hayne. Well, that's a low full toss, and Haynes hit it for 6. And he got that wrong, the bowler. Not a million miles off being a no ball, but it's hit for 6 by Hayne, and that's really lifted the pressure off.
Looking for a boundary, and what you get? A knee-high full toss off your fast bowler and just help it on its way. Cover the boundary. We're around by 20 yards.
That was borderline no ball as well, I think.
Close.
The replay.
What would you like? I want a knee-high full toss, please. Right, here we go.
Well, it means suddenly there's 19 required off 17 balls, so having gone from needing 8 and over, they've almost got it down to a run a ball. So Delanga, can he respond to that area? He pitches that one in short. Haynes played it to a back of square leg. He's placed it nicely, but they don't go for 2. They've been a bit reluctant to take risks with the running, apart from that single from Burgess. And that's 123 for 4. Well, I think someone's shouting to Delanga to get a wicket, because you do feel that Glamorgan need a wicket now after that 6. And that's hit straight to a fielder, no run from Burgess, unlucky to get nothing for it. He goes on walkabout. And so 6 single dot this over so far. Delanga to bowl right arm over to Burgess, who's down on one knee, hit it to the fielder again. It's another dot ball.
He's dragging this back quite nicely, isn't Delanga, in fairness to him? He's gone 6, 1, dot.
So 2 dot balls means it's 18 required off 14 balls now. Delanga in to bowl again. It's on mid on leg as a swing and a miss by Burgess. Very well taken by the wicket-keeper.
How has that missed the stumps?
Well, that is 3 dot balls in a row.
Well bowled.
And Burgess will be getting frustrated. He'll be feeling a bit anxious. And they have got 7 off the over, so single means they've got what they need off the over, but Delanga into bowl, and it's another fine delivery, which is Yorker length, gone straight past off stump. And what a turnaround from Delanga after a horrible first delivery. He's restricted them in the end to 7 off the over, so 2 overs to go, and the Bears still need 18 to win.
Fair play, Delanga. You know, he's gone for 6. A horrendous delivery first up, but then to drag it back for having 1 run from the next 5 deliveries. Well done. He stuck to his guns, ball full, straight and fast, which he does very well. It's kept Glamorgan in this game.
So 2 overs to go. 18 runs required. It could be quite a finish. What a shame there isn't a crowd to enjoy it.
They're all listening to us and watching us on the club stream and listening on the various BBC outlets, no doubt, as well as people trying to keep an eye on England as well. 123 for 4 here are the Bears, with 18 needed to win. As that's pulled up towards mid-wicket, they'll take a single. And that's all Sam Hayne will take. 124 for 4.
Hayne's really struggling with the running, isn't he? He's just not confident at all.
This is going to go somewhere near the wire, isn't it? In this 19th over, 11 balls to get 17 runs. Normally the batting side would be favourites. Glamorgan are fighting to keep themselves in the game as Van der Hoogten bowls, and that one's going over mid-wicket. That could be the one that takes all the pressure off for the Bears as Burgess pulls it big, high and handsome over mid-wicket for 6. 130 for 4. It's now just 11 off 10.
Yeah, Van der Hoogten just getting his length slightly wrong there. Pulling the ball for 6 runs, that cleaned the boundary by a long way. Just sounded so sweet coming off the bat there. Took the pressure back on Glamorgan, pressure off Warwickshire. Fine shot.
Van der Hoogten in again, needing something dramatic now as there's more runs here down towards backward square off the inside edge. Burgess inside edging it down. Balbirnie with the fielding keeps them down to a single. 10 needed to win off 9 balls.
See if Warwickshire learned from their previous over and, 3 dot balls would salvage a reasonable over here. So whether they go, right, let's revert back to picking up our singles, getting out to this over as best we can, or they just go for gold and say, right, let's hit another boundary and let's win this game.
Here comes Van der Hoogten, needing something to pull it back for Glamorgan. 10 to win. Worked away on the leg side again. They could be 2 this time. There'll be 4, in fact, as Balbirnie can't get a hand to it. And this 19th over, the game finally slipping Bears' way. 135 for 4 as Hayne takes the second boundary of the over, and Balbirnie might have done better with that.
Yeah, I'd be disappointed with that. A slide, and he's almost parried the ball through to the boundary. I mean, Glamorgan have fielded very well here today, but they won't be too proud of that effort down there at this stage of the game.
135 for 4 as Hayne moves on to 31 not out. And Van der Hoogten in to bowl a full toss that goes for 4 more. Oh dear, that one slipped. And this has been a decisive over in this contest, as there have been 6 and 2 fours, and Van der Hoogten just trying a little bit too much there, and it slipped out somewhere. 139 for 4, 2 to win. So it's almost worth Glamorgan bringing everyone in, you would have thought. Van der Hoogten surveys the field and does just that. Apart from deep square. You can stay out there. Balbirnie on the ropes. Everyone else in. Oh, apart from the cover on the offside as well. 2 on the boundary. As Van der Hoogten is in to bowl another full toss, and that's gone for 6. It's a no ball as well. So the Bears win in style as Tim Van der Hoogten marches off, ruining his fortunes, and Sam Hayne has clubbed them to victory with help from Michael Burgess at the other end. 41 not out to Hayne, 17 not out to Burgess. And the Bears get a few extra runs for their tally as well there. 147 for 4 is how they finish.
Yes, slightly curious, chasing 141 to win, they end up at 147. But there we are. Hayne will feel a lot better there. 41 not out. It's been a real stalwart for the Bears. And actually, that 6, I think, has taken him up to become the 5th highest all-time run scorer for the Bears. So, Michael Powell, it was close for a while. Just needed that penultimate over to be a bit more successful, because with the fight back by DeLange in the previous over, you always felt that the Bears were the most likely to win, but Glamorgan would have felt they had a reasonable chance going into that penultimate over.
Yeah, I think Glamorgan, in that middle period where they had the spinners working together, I think they did quite well, and they sort of dragged it back and put a little bit more pressure on. Warwickshire, but in fairness to Warwickshire, they were quite calm and collected during that stage and sort of bought their time and loaded up towards the back end of it because they had wickets in hand. And in the end, Glamorgan were always a little bit short. We always felt they were a little bit short with the bat, with only Cook with any runs to his name. I mean, they're doubtfully at the top of the order at 15, and as we've already said, the only one to get in double figures was Cook on 72. A little bit light with the bat, and it proved it in the end, but in fairness to Warwickshire, they did enough to bring it home for them today.
That 41 not out from Sam Hayne has put him ahead of Varun Chopra now, and the all-time T20 run scorers for the Bears. He's on 1,696 up into 5th place, and within striking range actually of 3rd. William Porterfield 4th, Jim Troughton 3rd. Then there's a bit of a gap to Jonathan Trott and Ian Bell as well out on top. So Glamorgan won the first game. They've lost this one. The Bears are up and running. 1 win for them, plus 1 no results. What's next for Glamorgan?
Glamorgan on the road this week. They're down in Taunton on Tuesday night to take on Somerset, having lost a 4-day game on the ground quite heavily, so they'll want a little bit of revenge or retribution there. And Also on Thursday night, they're in your manor, Clive, in your neck of the woods. Leave the coffee on for us, but not against the Bears. It's Northants, the opposition, who are playing, of course, as part of that double header at Edgbaston on Thursday for television. But we will be providing the audio commentary on the BBC. As always, Mike Powell, have some final thoughts on the performances of these two teams here today?
Well, I think Warwickshire obviously did enough, as I said earlier, to win the game. Justly deserved to take the rewards today. But Glamorgan, there was a lot of talk about last season.